I guess King of the Hill's coming back. You guys hear about that?
Yeah.
The King of the
You
Hill.
see this? You heard about this?
You see this? You hear about this? Although it's still like, I think it's still kind of up in the air. They talked about it being a thing, but then in another interview, Greg Daniels was like, yeah, well, we still are like working it out. We don't have a deal to do it or anything, but like we're doing it. Like we're working on it. We just, it's not like there's no network. There's no one's greenlit it, but we're doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the things that we want to do at our new animation studio. And yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a time skip. We're going to get like 10 to 15 years in the future. We're going to get older characters, which I think is the way to do it. If you're going to do it, like the regular show ended perfectly. So you don't want to like spoil that, you know? So you make it a different show, right? You make it a new show.
Yeah. Cause that would fucking, future. Yeah, King of the Hill future for sure. That would fucking kill me, man. If like Bobby's like, looks like this is the last one, and then like you just see what happens the morning after that. Like I don't want to fucking know what happens.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know what I
mean? Like, but yeah, I guess like when I watched your video on it and you were talking about like all this shit about like Good Hank and all that, and I was like, okay, yeah, like
there's some opportunities.
I would like to see it. I forgot that they were like kids, they were babies. Whatever happens to Bucky and Luann, they do have a kid.
No, Lucky.
Fuck. Yeah, Lucky and Luann, like they do have a kid, and that there's something there. And
yeah. The other thing is though, you got to remember the rest of that line. I know you remember. It looks like this is the last one, but you know what Hank says, no, you're gonna be grilling the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah. So is Bobby gonna be grilling in the new one?
You know, I always like I said in that video, and I always imagined him trying to pursue comedy, but like he really is also have the cooking thing, like and maybe pursue. It almost feels like pursuing cooking is like the real. I don't know. Maybe he can combine those worlds. Maybe he's. I don't want it to get too overtly modern, but like you know, if in the age of social media, is he a funny chef on social media? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is he cooking? Is he cooking cool stuff and being funny while he does it?
Maybe his job is like ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Bobby. Maybe I can relate to Bobby.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
That's what we're looking at here.
Relate to him as a kid and relate to him as an adult, man. Let's do it. It's like some Toy Story 3 shit. You know?
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's a good way to put it. A great film, but the worst Toy Story film.
Worse? You are full of shit. No way.
I just wanted to make you mad by relitigating this.
We can fight whatever. We can fight whatever about if it's better than the second one. I don't really give a fuck. But it ain't the worst one. The first one is the worst one. The first one.
I don't know. I rewatched the first one, and I think the first one's pretty great. They're all great. That's the problem.
But it's the worst one.
They're all A's. They're all A's.
Yeah. They're all really
it's like arguing what is the shiniest piece of gold. You know, like which one? Yeah. Oh man. Okay, but I'm eager to see what the heck that King of the Hill thing. But I'm more excited to see what that animation studio is doing, because the things they were saying about what they want to produce excited me about like what we're gonna see from them. So like I feel like King of the Hill is exciting, but they're bearing the lead, and the lead is that they're trying new things in adult animation, and I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
need that.
I guess we should say sorry that we've been gone so long. It's been it's been tough.
4 years.
Yeah, we were we after the holiday break, I got sick, which was a bummer. And that really set us back. And then as soon as I was not sick anymore, I was like, oh shoot, I'm behind on my big video I have to put out this month. I had a sponsorship attached, and it was the biggest video I ever did. So I literally spent the last week and a half like non-stop working on that. And so it's just the podcast has fallen to the wayside because of that. Like that was just the big thing, is that set us back so much. But we don't want to be behind. We really hate being behind. So we've kind of decided that, I know this is annoying to hear in our first episode back in a few weeks,
They gonna hate
but
us.
Right. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to take a couple months off of the main feed, but we will not be taking any time off of the Patreon feed. So we promise we're going to be delivering. We're going to be recording ASAP a few new Patreon episodes and be posting them as soon as we can. So if you like really can't go a couple months without our main feed episodes, feel free to check out the Patreon, especially because the first one we're going to do is Anomalisa, but you'll be happy to hear we're going to cover the Paddingtons after that. It's just something I'm very excited to talk about because those films are just lovely. I know everyone wants to hear us talk about Paddington. I know that a lot of people had said us talking about Paddington so much has made them watch it and be like, yep, this was pretty great.
That's pretty,
These were pretty
I like
great
that.
movies.
I like that.
Yeah, everyone should watch Paddington.
Man.
But the plan is that if we're going to take a couple months off, and during that time, we're really just going to be banking episodes. We're going to be, and we're going to be covering some bigger, higher requested shows. Cause I know some of the big ones that we've been avoiding because of those episode lengths, we're going to be taking the time to make sure we watch. So like, we haven't exactly locked it in, but the ones you should be thinking about are in the realm of like King of the Hill, Family Guy, Simpsons, the classics, the classic adult animation stuff.
Cause I think like doing the show, like the way we were, we both kind of had so much shit going on with like, because YouTube shit is our job, and we got to watch all these fucking at first blanket. It's like, oh, they just got to watch a couple shows, a couple episodes during the week, and then they just go sit down and talk. But like that's also mixed in with literally everything else that we have to do, and subconsciously we've just kind of been like, all right, man, we need a break real quick. So why don't we find like something that got like, I don't know, this got 13 episodes. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
So,
and then even those started getting like we kept trying to adjust it to be like, we can do this. We can we can just make it a little easier on us. And even those, it just ends up being like, oh, this is still hard to watch this many episodes. So we're just going to take the time to backlog as many episodes as we can. And that way, when we come back, we just like, at least for a while, we will not have any breaks in the schedule. We'll just be able to just like, we'll be recording so far in advance that you guys won't have to worry about any breaks in the schedule. Because we don't want to have these gaps in the schedule. We want to bring you guys stuff every week, but it's just, it is a lot to do when you're behind. When you're every week, we're making our videos and we're working on our videos, and then we're also doing the podcast. It's just a lot of stuff. But also we're hoping that like, some of the stuff we cover in the break leads into, we can hopefully make videos about those shows too. There's one show we wanted to cover at some point that I know Tariq's been wanting to do videos about for a while. We'll keep that one a secret. Yeah.
And then there's the other one.
Two of them.
I could say it. I don't really care because everybody knows that I'm doing both of the videos.
Yeah.
So there's Slacker Cats and then there's Daria. Instead of just doing videos on it, me and Johnny both agreed that it'd be cool if he watched the shows with me, so we can make them pod episodes too. So that not only do you get the video on the show, but you also get like a walkthrough of how we feel about every episode, I guess. And I think that shit is cool. It's like some kind of weird extended universe thing.
Videos. If the hour-long retrospective that Tariq makes about Daria isn't enough for you, we've got 6 to 12 more hours of us talking about Daria for you diehards.
And if that's not enough, I don't fucking know what to tell you.
if that's not enough, then I don't know if we can ever give you what you need.
Yeah, right. You might need to go see somebody and talk to somebody about it. I don't know.
But we are excited. We're excited to like get into some of the shows that the shows that inspired us to talk about, to make this podcast in the first place. Like when we initially jumped on to talk about this, we were geeking out about, we started with Futurama because that was the one we started geeking out about, but we were geeking out about King of the Hill and The Simpsons and Family Guy and all of these shows. And it feels like, we've been like, oh, we got to save those. Let's branch into all these other shows. And those have been great. Like, don't get me wrong. I love talking about Archer. I love talking about home movies. I love talking about Rick and Morty. But like,
shit, I forgot we did.
Yeah, we covered all 5 seasons of Rick and Morty, man. And in fact, in the middle of this year we're gonna have to do season 6 once that's all up. So we'll see. That's gonna be this year. But like Tariq and I think we were both raised by a lot of these cartoons in a lot of ways. And so like we have so much true, genuine love for some of these older ones, these older classics, and so much to say about them. They've just been like a part of our lives. And so, and literally the whole podcast was born out of us geeking out about the tiniest minutia of these things.
It literally started as us on the phone. I swear. It was like, I think we were talking because which is funny to think about now. Well, I guess we kind of did it. We were talking because you were saying that you wanted to do a full Futurama retrospective.
I did. And
you were asking me to do it with you.
Yeah.
Which kind of happened just now.
Yeah, it did kind of happen. Yeah. You got a few episodes in there, and you edited a chunk of it, and and so did Deli. Got a lot of great editing help on that thing. That thing was an absolute monster.
Fucking yeah, bro. That was a sick couple days. It was a good couple days. Dude, it was a sick couple days.
It was probably the most I've written straight ever in my life. I was just like, every day I was up and I was just like, gotta write. It's like a 65-page script. It's crazy. It's wild. So go watch it if you haven't yet. It's basically, it's like the length of this podcast. So if over the next 2 months, you're really missing us, you can hear both of us talk about Futurama for 2 hours in that video.
Healthy discussion on every episode, like
literally every episode.
Yeah, every episode.
Plus Simsorama, plus Futurama the game. A couple people were mad I didn't include the podcast episode, which I maybe should have.
What podcast episode?
You never listened to that, Tariq? You don't know about the podcast, the Futurama podcast episode?
Oh, wait, no, you talked about that before. Okay, yeah,
I talked about it in another video. Yeah,
you did talk about that before. Maybe you should do the game. Put the game in it, not that game. The game on the phone, the one on the. You know what I mean?
The problem with the game on the phone is that there's no real story to it. There's a setup in the story, and then the rest is just like a not very fun, tedious mobile game. And but they did do really awesome, like fully animated scenes and trailers for it, and that was like literally the final ever produced like fully animated Futurama anything. And it's great. There's like a really funny one where Hypnotoad meets like the whole plot is that Hypnotoad meets like a girl Hypnotoad from across dimensions and rips holes open in the universe. And the scenes are really funny. It's like, yeah. That might be it. That might be the final Futurama thing ever made. So we'll see.
I promise we're gonna get the whole movie, so I promise. So one thing I remember from when we were talking about doing this pod was that we were gonna use it as a way to show you American Dad. Now, I know that you started watching American Dad recently.
I got through most of the first season, but I didn't.
Okay.
I think I got through most of the first season, but I didn't get that far. I was looking. I was watching it through to think if there was videos to make on it, and I think there are, but just the sheer volume of that show got overwhelming, and I was like, I need to do something that I can consume faster and make videos about sooner than doing 20 seasons.
I think that'll be, if we do it on a pod, I think that'll be a good excuse for you to consume all that information, and then you get inspired.
Well, then
during the watch, I guess.
We should definitely shoot it out to you listeners and viewers. Also, in the comments on the Patreon, let us know what you most want us to talk about, especially with these bigger shows that we're like really inspired to talk about. And like the Patreon is a really good place to be able to comment to us too. In fact, we got some really good Patreon comments. We want to start reading them on the pod too. We got some good ones. This was one of my favorite ones, just like as it's a compliment to us, but it was just like, oh, this is like what I want to hear about our podcast. And it's on the Puss in Boots bonus episode. A guy named Randy Babbles. Thank you, Randy Babbles, patron since October 2021.
It's a good name.
It is Randy Babbles. Says, I I can't listen to a single episode of After Dark without hitting Google and IMDb 10 times. Just watched the 1988 just watched the 1988 Puss in Boots trailer. I'm excited to watch it, but please don't cover it unless you're going full MST3K. I love that. I love those kind of comments. Those just make that, because that's what I hope we're doing, is inspiring you to be like, what the heck are they talking about? What's going on? And then we got a really great comment from Waluigi-kin. This is my dream blunt rotation, to be honest, about Yumi and Mikey. Love to hear that. Also says, also the Puss in Boots Netflix show low-key fucks.
It does? Oh, okay.
I've never seen it. I don't know. You can't see
it. Man, I had like a weird fucking, like, I hate the term fever dream, bro. I swear I do. But like it was like fucking 3 a.m. and like I turned the TV on and I was barely conscious and the fucking Puss in Boots show was just playing on the hub. And I was just like, what the fuck is this
what
shit?
The fuck
and
is
like,
this?
And it was like moving weird. Like I was just like, what the fuck? What they got Antonio Banderas cat doing, man? What is this shit? I have no idea if it's good though.
I don't either. Yeah, I might check it out sometime. We got this really nice comment from Jane Ellen Cole, who says, if you're looking for semi-serious animated movies, I thought this was a good recommendation. Semi-serious animated movies, I'd recommend Cartoon Salon's entire library, specifically Breadwinner, Song of the Sea, or Wolfwalkers. They're all really good movies.
I've heard of those.
Breadwinner rules, and Song of the Sea rules. Just seen. They also did Secret of the Kells, I think. Actually,
Yeah.
let me show you something. I got something.
Ooh.
Bring it out.
Ooh, pod content. What you think it is, Deli? What's that? What do you got?
I think this was a Shout Factory release. I got this really cool 3-movie set of Secret of the Kells, Wolfwalkers, and Song of the Sea. And it's like this really nice box. Sorry, I know the reflection is kind of rough in there, but it's really cool. It's a really, really beautiful case. I haven't even opened it yet.
That's dope.
But I got these, so we could cover these. Yeah, actually, this art rules. Even just looking at it closer right now, like this is sweet. And I've never watched Wolfwalkers. I haven't watched it yet. So, I love Song of the Sea. I think this would be. I think those are good suggestions, and we're open to suggestions, because if you guys are paying for these bonus episodes on our Patreon, we want to give you what you want to hear. We want to give you the shows you want us to cover, the movies you want us to cover. So,
you want to do the Steven Universe movie?
Dude, I love the Steven Universe movies. All right,
Damn.
Okay,
That's
okay,
it.
but hold on. I'm gonna get one more thing that I have.
Oh shit, he's gonna pull out the vinyl. I'm scared.
What you got back there? I can't. All my cool shit is in the living room. I can't go out there.
Man,
All right,
I wish I
you
knew
know what's
we were
funny?
doing
You got-
show and tell.
You know what's funny, Deli, is I do have the vinyl. That's not what I was pulling out. I have this is not a legal thing. I have a VHS of Steven Universe the movie.
Oh, I've seen these before.
Hey,
Oh, these are so
okay.
well made.
It rules. Look, it's got this really nice like pink. It's got the pink stickers on there and everything. It
That's
looks
pretty nice.
legit.
So fucking
It's
cool.
really cool, and it feels like it's supposed to be on VHS. Like, it really does.
It does. Yeah, I get you.
It's great.
The people listening to this don't know. Wow, this is a long ass cold open. The people listening to this don't know. The people listening to this don't know, but like I sent this like fucked up meme the other day to the server because it was like an old school TV and it was connected to like a Roku, and I said, "This how Johnny watch TV." And then he responded, right? Like it was like an hour later, some shit like that. He responded, "He's, you absolute idiot. My TV is smaller than that." He took a picture.
I'm kind of fucked up that he didn't link the picture of the Shrek CRT instead.
That thing is too expensive. I wish I had the Shrek CRT. I think the Shrek CRT is the best version of Shrek.
Whatever, bro. Dude, you should get like you should get the Lightning McQueen shit. I'm about to. How much
I
do
do
those
think that
go
was cool. That was pretty cool. Man, the world of themed CRTs are so funny.
I used to have the SpongeBob one. It was so lit.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's just like yellow with the holes and shit, right?
Yeah. It was so
Dude, the
cool.
Lightning McQueen one is pretty good. It's like
it's kind of rad.
It's
really rad. Oh man, I can't spend a bunch of money on CRTs, you guys. We can't do this.
Maybe if some really cool and awesome patrons come through, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, maybe
you know what?
Be
if we ever reach if we ever reach 1,000 patrons, which is ways off, I will spend a buttload of money on the craziest CRT I can find and show it off. So that is an incentive for you all to join the Patreon.
Man,
I will waste my money on a ridiculous CRT.
It's gonna be some sick ass fucking Frasier themed fucking TV.
Frasier. Like. if there's a Frasier themed CRT, I'm buying that now. Frasier. That's so funny. It comes with a bottle of red wine.
Love it. Need it. Need it.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think we should probably cue the theme song.
Yeah, we got to,
talking
man.
about the show.
Fuck. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, rest assured, we won't be gone too long, and when we're back, we'll be back and better than ever, talking about great stuff, and there will be no gaps in the schedule once we've backlogged as much as we can. So we're doing it for you
excuses.
Guys. All right. Yeah, exactly. And with that, we're gonna cue the theme song.
I've been watching them for years, it's always been something that fit with all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a family guy that sucks. With a father from a Burger family runs them up. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse. Let's watch cartoons that curve.
Yeah, that's bananas.
As rough.
What the f*** is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse, the podcast about cartoons that say swear words. I am John, aka Johnny Two Cellos. I'm here with my co-host Tariq, aka Toonrific. Tariq, how are you, Tariq?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Got a nice bit of serotonin. That's how you pronounce that, right?
Yeah, serotonin.
Yeah, I got a nice bit of serotonin from the half an hour long cold open that we did.
It was good.
Time.
It was a good time. We are here with our resident co-host, the Wacky Deli. In their final appearance for home movies, they'll be back on the podcast at some point after this. Deli, welcome back. How are you today?
It's pretty good to be here, surviving that Encanto brain rot. You know how it is.
Encanto brain rot.
The world loves Encanto so much.
Yeah, they not ready for me and Johnny. Yeah, I'm happy for them. I don't want to.
I'm worried. I like the movie. I like it's a good movie.
Yeah, I'm fucking around. We both like it.
I just didn't love it like everyone else, and I feel like I'm public enemy number one because I didn't love
Mikey.
It. Oh my gosh! All right,
I just wanted to say for the record about Encanto. It's a movie about my people. I've never seen a movie in my life with more people that look like me and have hair texture like me.
Hell yeah.
I think that's pretty rad.
Bars!
The movie's kind of mid.
That's
I'm
right.
not gonna lie. The movie's kind of mid otherwise.
It's got a lot of stuff going for it, but
flag on the play.
Special.
Whole podcast is racist because we disrespected Mikey and his movie.
That is great. Yeah, you love to see that, and I do think that there's a lot to love about that movie. Man, we just immediately were like, all right, Encanto time.
I didn't mean to do that.
Listen, we're on moderate levels so far. We're not at the point where we're like, oh, I didn't know they were holding a plate of corn in this scene. We're not there yet, but maybe one day you will appreciate it.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I do like the one thing that Tariq and I have talked about is we feel like we're going crazy because we felt like the themes were so on the nose and everyone else is like the mind, like these themes are mind blowing. It's about this and this. And I've just been like, I thought, man, I don't know.
That was obvious. That's really just.
I think it's okay.
All it is.
I think it's okay if it's obvious. Like the whole the house is breaking because it's a broken home, and I'm like, it's
the physical strong sister. She can't be strong for everyone. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what's funny too, because I feel like a lot of people are trying to, especially now since it's like hit the top 100 and it's fucking charted now. Everyone's trying to compare it to Frozen.
Fucking insane.
It is insane.
That song is great. I do love that song.
I fucking love that, honestly.
Yeah, I do too.
Everyone's trying to compare it to Frozen. And back in the day, Frozen was like getting like all the accolades because everyone thought it was like subversive and shit. When really shit like Mulan and Lilo and Stitch had done lessons that Frozen was rehashing. Like,
it was so weird. It was that
weird.
Frozen shit will never not be weird to me because everybody was like, "Oh, it's about sisters. Disney's never done that." I was like, "What the fuck?" Like,
you know what though? You guys are definitely right. But the one thing that I do like about Frozen is that it did that message in the fairy tale princess style that is known for having like the more traditional lessons with its love stories, and I liked that. I liked that they chose to do that, and I do think it's a good thing. I do like that movie blew up from all the princess ones because that it does have like I do think it has good important lessons in it. Even though if you're right, it wasn't necessarily groundbreaking. It wasn't like paving the way. You know what I mean? But you know, I do still. I remember finally watching Frozen, and there's stuff I really don't like about Frozen. I don't care about those trolls at all. But
I forgot about that.
It feels like a different movie.
That's the part of the movie that just always just doesn't exist to me.
Yeah. And honestly, like I had heard the song "Let It Go" so many hundreds of times before I watched Frozen, and I was like, I don't get this song. And then when I finally watched it in the movie, I was kind of like, when the moment came, I was kind of like, oh, it does kind of work in the movie. Like, it works pretty good in the movie.
I think I saw Frozen like opening weekend, so like I got to experience the film like as a whole before it became like a fucking phenomenon. Yeah. So like I remember, and this is always, I don't understand how this keeps happening to me, but every time I like go see a Disney movie early, and I was like, yeah, that was all right. And I'll leave, and then I'll go home, and everybody's like, whoa! And I'm like, wait.
The one, and I feel like I have that too. I didn't see Frozen in theaters, but the one, I know I've talked about this in the pod before, but the one that I saw in theaters and was like, that is my favorite Disney movie in years was Moana. And then like that wasn't even the Disney movie that won Best Animated Feature that year. Zootopia beat it. And and I remember walking out of Moana being like, I loved that. I loved that. And I especially I really love the music of Moana, but yeah, you know, I mean, everyone's got their opinions. It's cool. I'm glad. I'm happy to see some of the directions Disney's going with a lot of these movies. And you know, even when they don't necessarily hit my sensibilities perfectly, they're doing a pretty good job. I still haven't seen Raya. There's a few I haven't seen, but I think in general, yeah, I heard mixed things. A lot of people love it. A lot of people don't. But I guess that's the story of all of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like that should hit my sensibilities though, because I really like that kind of like mystical, like ancient world stuff. So I don't know. I'll give it a watch soon.
I think you might find the overall atmosphere of Raya like interesting. I think you would like it. I do.
Cool.
Think you would like it. So.
All right. Well, we weren't here to talk about Disney movies. This is our second long tangent of the day.
Yeah, but
we liked Encanto. Just to put it to rest, we liked it. We liked Encanto.
We did. I was just fucking around when I said y'all not ready for me and Johnny. Y'all are.
Yeah. Oh man. So we're here to talk about the final season of Home Movies. Home Movies season 4. I didn't do any like pre-season 4 research other than watching it. Deli, is there anything to know about the fourth and final season? Was this planned to be their final season, or were they canceled and they're like, all right, we got to end this? Do you know?
It feels like something I should know, shouldn't it?
Well, you are the master of the home movies, but it's okay if you don't.
Yeah. No, it was. I should have thought to watch them after season 3, but there was like when I was doing my video, I had listened to like all 3 seasons worth of commentary, and I didn't know that they did commentaries for all of season 4 until like 4 days before I dropped it.
Oh wow!
So there probably is like, if I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you probably have like seen some episodes with commentary on it, but they probably do have some nuggets of wisdom in there. But it is like, I mean, the season's kind of disconnected, so I don't really know how much they would have in there. What I did listen to was this radio interview that that Lauren Bouchard and John Benjamin did with Tom Sharpling, who ended up becoming the voice of Greg on Steven Universe. But
oh wow,
they did they did a lot of interesting stuff, and I think it was like it took place a year after the show ended. So there were a lot of like nation thoughts about the existentialism of home movies and like all the stuff that they did. They spent a long time talking about the disappearance of improv. It's like it's not real anymore. What happened? Shit like that. So if you have the DVD or access to the files, then you should probably listen to that, and then go back and listen to the commentaries if you want to. That would be my recommendation. But I think they chose to. If I had to guess, I think they chose to end it.
You know what? I'm reading now. It sounds like they knew it was going to end, but I don't know if it means they knew they were canceled or if they knew like, oh, we're going to do one more season. So they knew it was going to be the end through the final season, apparently.
I think they were given, like, they knew they were getting one more, but they figured, well, this will probably be the last one, so we're going to blow it out.
The one weird thing that I guess I never really thought about or noticed before this watch is like Brendan's dad and Linda just disappear after she gives birth. They're just not in this at all.
Fam, it's so fucking bizarre. I could have sworn. One thing I learned while watching these is how little of these I've seen. I thought I saw the whole fucking show. Yeah, there's so many of these. I'm like, I don't fucking remember this. Like, the psychic shit with McGurk when he's blind. I don't fucking remember that. Like, I don't remember any of that.
Season 4 is definitely weird. Like that point where most people either they remember everything or nothing. Because I know that there's only like 2, 3.5 that I knew off the bat before I went back and watched some of it. Because it really is just like that far away from the initial stuff.
I will say, and I don't know if this is maybe because I remembered it less, but I did find myself like cracking up hysterically at things that I didn't remember. Like there were some jokes that really hit me, and even just some concepts that really hit me. But also the one through line in these episodes that I think is really funny, especially for this podcast, is that all of a sudden they're just fucking swearing with bleeps the whole season. Like, all right, it's a real cartoon that curses now. Right? They did that one that was about it. They do the curses episode that's about that. But even before that, they had Brendan swearing a couple times and bleeping it. And I feel like they didn't really do that much in the first 3 seasons. Am I wrong? Am I misremembering?
It was definitely far and in between. It happened, but like it was fucking it was far and in between, spaced out, definitely. And it was usually like Paula or McGurk or some shit like that.
Right.
Like,
the first time they had Brendan swear in this season, when Paula made the winter scene for the play and it needed to be a summer scene, and he's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
I felt him though, bro. Like I really felt him. I was like, he's like, yo, she said, well, just set it in winter. He said, there's a fucking barbecue. There's a fucking
4th of July.
Like, what the fuck? I can't just fucking do that. I felt him.
All right, so before we get into individual episodes, there's one other thing I noticed about this season that I thought I felt like this was the best looking season animation wise and like background.
I wrote that. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely,
it felt,
it's gorgeous.
and it also just felt like they had a bunch more new characters. Like the first episode, there's like all of these other teachers we've never seen. I'm like, wow, they built a bunch of character models for this season.
That's true.
There's
a lot of character acting. Like before, in like the first, because Night and Day, the first season, put the camera on Melissa, just make her mouth move, make her eyes shift around, and then you got your shot. But like here, they're like hand gestures, and they're like really expressive, and eyes bulging out, zipping across the screen. It's like really, really, really expressive, and it's like they really like upped it here. If anything, so I don't know. I guess spoiler alert. This is probably my least favorite season, but it's fucking gorgeous. It looks really good. It looks really good. That Curses episode that you're talking about. We talked a little earlier about the inception of this podcast. Where the name comes from is because I was supposed to I had it in my notes. There was a video that I was gonna do about cartoon, like the episodes in cartoon, because a lot of cartoons have those episodes where like the characters just like pick up cursing and everybody's like, whoa.
SpongeBob with they use the dolphin bleeps when they read the graffiti. Yeah.
And on Arthur, they just fucking bleep it, which is mad funny.
I didn't know there's an Arthur one.
Yeah,
I want to watch that.
Really? Yo, I feel like everyone talks about that one.
That episode is so funny.
We should talk about that episode. We should talk about, you know what? Honestly, we should talk about those episodes of things on the Patreon episode. We should do a Patreon episode about those. That would be really fun.
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. But yeah, I was supposed to do a video on that, and I was going to call it Cartoons That Curse. That's where the name of the pod came from. And
it's such a good
name. Curses would 1000% have been in that video. And I was when it came on, I was like, oh yeah, this definitely I would have ended up talking about this anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah, that Arthur one is sick.
I gotta watch
that. You see the Dexter's Lab one?
I know about the Dexter's Lab one. I think I've seen clips of it. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
There's one. Oh, Powerpuff. There's a sick ass Powerpuff Girls
one too. Powerpuff one?
Yeah, and they don't. So the way they censor them is that like it's just like shit, like sound effects, like shit in the background, like. Bubbles breaks her crayon. She says stupid fucking crayon, and then like but like when she says fucking, like bricks fall or some shit like that, like it's so funny.
Oh man, you should still make that video, dude.
I might.
Yeah. Man. All right, let's start cruising through these. I love the title of this first one so much. Everyone is entitled to my opinion.
My opinion?
Funny. It's an incredible title. And also, like, I feel like we all can maybe relate to this a little bit when, like, talking about media gets in the way of making media, right?
Yeah.
But there are so many, like, individual moments in this that I love. I also just love Brendan's poorly written reviews. Like his reviews for movies are so funny to me. And the idea that's an 8-year-old kid being like, this guy said that my favorite movie is bad, but he's wrong. That movie is great. And you know, it's probably the dumbest movie ever.
Yeah.
You know,
my first note says this episode is about us. I don't feel comfortable doing this podcast anymore.
That's great. I feel like this probably wasn't improvised, but the WWW scene felt like it had a little hint of that improvisation thing back, where they're just like, you don't have to say WWW, you don't have to say it. And then I feel like the other funnier thing is that, like, when she's just like, well, why don't you just say World Wide Web? And they're like, well, that would be a waste of time.
It's fucking wasted. Why would you do that?
But you know what's even funnier is that World Wide Web is literally faster than saying www. Like, because there's so many more syllables in W than in World Wide Web.
That is 1000% true. I felt Melissa that whole bit. I was like, yeah, they're just being fucking assholes. I love that she says, all right, so let me put this in a language that you can understand. www.you'reignoringus.com.
That's great. Oh
Lunch
man,
bread is
Deli,
really good.
Deli, what do you think about this one? You like this episode?
It's all right. Barring the fact that it is a peek behind the curtain and a look into all of our souls, it's moderately funny. It's funny. It's not ha funny, but
I had some ha-has. I got a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I had some ha-has. I think that's the thing though. Is like this season, I feel like so few of the premises stood out to me as being like as being standout, but so many of the moments in the episodes, I was just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like I love. Like in this episode, I love when Lynch is announcing that he's like the principal. He's like, I am your new principal. And Walter and Perry is like, interim principal. And they both just like start heckling. I'm like, yeah, you're interim principal.
He's like, yeah, I was gonna say that. I was getting to that.
It's so
fucking
funny.
asshole.
And then I also like the other moment that like killed me is when Brendan is like really leaning into his movie reviews and how he starts every review with in conclusion. And Jason goes, you start it that way? And he goes, yeah, because I have the final say. He goes, that's kind of annoying, Brendan. I thought that was so funny. Oh man. Yeah, this
I
like again
the tow truck Tina stuff. When we talking about
funny
shit. I like that shit a lot. He's like, said, you won't believe how many times, you know, right? You gotta know.
Yeah, he's talking around it. Who is it that said friends steal? I wrote down friends steal things for their friends. Who said that?
I don't remember
who said that. I just remember laughing at that.
Oh, dude, man. Fucking Lynch and McGurk go to the fucking movies. And then Lynch reaches in a popcorn and grabs his dick, and then the camera cuts. Did you not see that?
No, I don't think I did.
It's a visual. I got that. I almost want you to go to HBO Max and pull it up just so you can see. He grabs his dick. I have it downloaded.
I can do it right now. Let's see. All right,
he grabs his dick at the end of the episode. It's so funny because Lynch has like this like his eyes pop out and then it cuts immediately. And I was like, he just grabbed this fucking meat. I wrote it in all caps. That's how fucking turned I got off that. I was like, why the fuck did he do that?
Just saw it. You might be right about that. The old penis in the popcorn.
Penis in the popcorn.
Wow. Well, that's something I missed. I'll be honest though, like, even though I just said like, oh yeah, this season, I think a lot of the moments outshine the premises. This is one premise that I really like. The Brendan writing movie reviews.
Oh,
Lynch being the principal is good, but Brendan writing movie reviews is a premise I really enjoy.
I love it, and I love, you know what I love about it too, because I think I guess to kind of get a little more serious here, it kind of reminds me of like something that we talk about a lot, which is like the need of a lot of people to be really negative with their film criticism, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is that Brendan brings that to his friends and they're on the film set. So you get to visibly see how this affects people that works on these things. Totally. And I thought that was really interesting because like, you know, like people are so mean online, but it's like, these are people
making things.
Like, yeah. And like Melissa
they're not
and Jason
trying
are like,
to make bad things.
Right. And Melissa just like, what the fuck are you like? Why are you being an asshole? Like it's
right.
And it's like, yeah, because just kind of when you're just kind of like a dude behind the mic or like behind your keyboard and you just kind of say whatever the hell you want, it's very, very vastly different than being in front of somebody and looking them in the eye and having to talk to them that way.
Right.
And
yeah,
I think that like I think the fact that they even slightly explore that, it was like really, really interesting.
Totally.
I like that shit a lot.
I'm sure it was partly reflective of their experience too, because I'm sure by that point they already knew what everyone thought of the show. They would talk about how like kids would like talk about home movies on forums and talk about like their school life and like compare it to the show and then be like, okay, but they don't improv anymore and it sucks. Why is that?
Yeah. Right.
But it's like you know, I know people that make like the negative reviews their shtick. They'd probably be like, well, I mean, I'm just giving criticism, not
Right.
being mean. It's like, okay, but would you frame all this shit like this show sucks or like this is the worst X of Y? If you were in front of them, you probably would not.
Exactly.
You're not even on that level, dude. I don't know why you try to justify it.
I think constructive criticism is important, but like and to a degree, at a certain point, it's just not constructive. When your video is like, this movie is an unmitigated disaster or something like that, like if that's how you frame it. That's not constructive. That's just mean. That's just mean.
Right. But then they walk out and they're like, all right, but that's clickbait. And I actually explain all my reasoning in this 2.5 hour tangent about how terrible the Star Wars
Right. And that is why it happens. It's because it gets the clicks. People are mean in how they frame their videos because it gets people to click. And that's just the way it is, and it's a bummer. All right, my dog is whipping around a loud toy right now. All right, I'll let it go. We'll see how it goes. No, squeaking it now? Come on.
I love how she has a cameo in like every episode.
Yeah, right.
I successfully swapped out her toy to a less loud one. Unless she finds the squeaker in that one, yeah. Oh, she's going back for the other one. Dang it. All right, well, she's having a good time. Can you guys hear it? Can you hear that?
A little bit.
I just heard that, yeah.
I heard,
Can you hear that whipping
squeak
around?
Not really.
She'll tire herself out soon. We'll see.
Bank on that.
Let's move on to 402, Camp. Ponyo, come on, dude. All right, let's go to Camp. This is one. There's a shot. So this is one of the times I wrote down, oh, this looks really good this season. Is you see my dog going nuts back there?
Yeah.
She's having a good time.
She's
digging
so turned
in the
up.
couch. Stop digging in the couch, dude. Honky Magoo over
Bro,
here.
she knows which episode's coming up.
She knows.
So sorry.
Honky Magoo.
Hey, don't do that. All right. You get a little cameo from Ponyo right here. All right. So Camp. There's a shot in this that I thought was so beautiful. It was just a wide shot at night of like the camp and the lake and the moonlight like shining off of it. And I was like, wow, this is like the most beautiful like establishing shot I've ever seen in this show. This was really nice. And I guess I in general like camp. I think camp episodes could be fun. And there's a lot of things I like about this one. I like the Campingston Falls song a lot. The Campingston Falls song. Yeah.
I do like the song. Like the song. There's a couple songs in here, but I like them. It's hilarious. I feel the exact opposite about camp episodes. I fucking hate them.
You hate camp episodes?
Yeah, I always have. There's exceptions, obviously. Like I'm not a fucking like weirdo. Like I love Camp Krusty. That's a good episode.
Camp Krusty rules.
Yeah, that episode fucking rock. Like you know what I mean. But like, whenever I don't know. I do these series retrospectives and I do them on shows about kids, right? So like, obviously, there's gonna be some chance that they go to a camp for an episode or like maybe a long episode or something like that, and those are always drags. I can never stand them. I don't know what it is.
So was this the same one? You didn't like this one?
Yeah, no, I didn't. My first note says, "Oh boy," because I saw that it was called Camp. And then my second note says, "I'm not into this one at all." But two nice things I have to say about it. First thing, when Coach is like freaking out at the end, the animation is so expressive. It's like he's off the wall. It's really nice. And there was one big laugh I got out of this one where I don't even remember what the fuck they were talking about. They were Brendan and Jason were like in the lake, and Brendan says something to Jason, and Jason says, "Brendan, don't talk. I'm peeing."
That's great.
It's pretty good.
The line I wrote down that I really liked is when they discover McGurk and he's like kind of going nuts and he just goes, "Brendan, try these leaves. They're poisonous."
Oh yeah. He does do that. It's funny.
Oh man. Deli, got any thoughts on camp?
Yeah, I think this one's one of the better ones out of the season, if not just like the funniest. For some reason they might be giants to be the fucking junior counselors, and I don't know how that shit happened, but
who did they get?
They got they might be giants to be the Dwayne's. Yeah, it's weird.
I wonder if Brendan is just like friends with them through music, like just through making music. Nuts.
I mean, maybe back then it made kind of sense. Yeah, I mean, it makes the song that they sing earlier, the two songs kind of cool. But I mean, in general, I think it's pretty funny. I really like the 90s Addams Family movie, and this whole episode reminds me of the whole sequence of Wednesday at camp. That shit is, to me, it's like really funny.
I gotta rewatch those movies. Those movies are great.
They're really good. There was this. It was like a 40-second scene where the crazy director was like showing them like collections of food, and it was like so like each one's attached to celebrity, and then he comes over to Brendan and he holds up a clementine, and he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "I don't know. I mean, like a tangerine." He's like, "It's a clementine." He's like, "Well, okay, but why do I need to know this?" It's like, because in case you run into James Cameron, you need to know. And he yell about how he would cater them on set and shit, shit like that. I felt like it dragged less than like typical camp episodes. Like the only one that I think I don't dislike them outright, but they do tend to like drag a bit, which is part of why probably isn't for you. The only one that I remember really liking was the all grown up one where they find that fucked up treasure, but that's because like that shit was so off the rails that you couldn't help but kind of get into it. But this is like a good second place after that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I think it's just that like it always kind of happens when I'm into a show and I just love their home, and then they leave and go to the woods, and there's always just the same shit in the woods and cartoons.
That's true. Yeah,
it's like I don't really care.
Yeah.
I guess the idea of camp episodes that I like is just the like I don't know if this one necessarily explored this, but in general I kind of like the idea of camp episodes because it's an interesting place for new conflict and drama with like new people. You know what I mean? There's a very unique type of drama that can come in a camp setting. There's new crushes, there's new rivalries, there's like all these different kinds of things. You can like, there's the idea that characters can try to be a totally different person at camp because they have this different group of friends that they don't have back home. I think there's like a lot of narrative opportunity in camp settings. But that being said, I can't like, even though I like it conceptually, I can't really off the top of my head think of a lot of camp stories that I particularly like. You know what I mean? But I've always just I've always just appreciated it as a setting. But yeah. You guys want to move on to 403?
Let's
do it.
All right. Bye, Greasy. I like this one a lot. This is the one where Brendan directs the school play, which is another premise from this season that I think like stands out as like that is a strong premise. Brendan's directing the school play.
Yeah.
My first note is, "Hey, best friend Bren."
My first note is it's Shannon.
It's Shannon. That is literally my next note is Shannon! Exclamation point.
Yeah, I fucking love Shannon, bro. I was so happy. I was so fucking happy, bro. I love Shannon.
I am really glad we got so many fan favorite, like, or at least of our favorite side characters back this season, especially like a lot of Fenton, and then Shannon being in this one in such a fun, prominent role was great.
I love him. I love him.
but-
And he fucking kicks ass on stage. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he does.
He
That's
kicks
so
ass.
weirdly satisfying how that all plays out. Man, and I liked how much of a disaster the play was at first. Like Brendan behind the fake bush trying to whisper lines to Jason, and Jason just repeating everything he says like over and over again. And then I'm obsessed with like sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just like how like they kind of trick you. They kind of make you think like, oh fuck, is Shannon gonna be the issue? Shannon is literally not the problem. He like he like bullies his way to be the main character. But once he's the main character,
problem because he doesn't show up. But when he does show up, he like nails it.
Right. And yeah, and then like they're like him and Brendan are doing a scene, and then he goes like, "Hey Brendan, I think we should like." He gives like a fucking great note. He's like, "Hey, we should do something with the lights. We should like dim the lights at the shot." And you know, like he does like something really great, like with the he gives like a really great note, and then Fenton freaks the fuck out.
Yeah, because he's in charge of the lights.
Yeah. Why the fuck you listening to him and like all this shit and this and everything? Fucking McGurk. That shit. Oh, dude, when McGurk drives onto the stage prematurely, it's so funny. It cracked me the fuck up.
Everything about McGurk driving on the stage, especially like I am obsessed with the racing song that he sings. I think it's so funny. So funny. But the fact that he couldn't get his window down and he has to sing it in the car and no one can hear it is so funny. He's just like giving it his all. It's so good. But going back to what you're saying about Shannon, it is kind of amazing how in so few appearances Shannon has such depth. Like he really is like such a strong character. In his first one, he had so much depth as just he's introduced as just the bully, and then even through that, you're like, oh look, he's like raising his siblings. He's got like all this home life. He's very serious and professional about his bullying. Like he doesn't want, he's just got all this really interesting depth.
Great.
And even the idea of him bullying Brendan so that he can be the lead in a play is interesting. Like it's like it feels like a bully wouldn't care about that kind of thing. It feels like a bully might bully people in a play, but instead he's like, I'm gonna bully the director so I can star in the play. I can bully my way into this opportunity. Great character, Shannon. Love him so much.
Fucking love Shannon. Shannon's the fucking best.
I got one line that I wrote down that I love.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Yeah,
you want to go first?
Nah, go ahead.
All right. So going back to when the play was a disaster, I like when Brendan walks off stage and McGurk just says like, Brendan, this is kind of a disaster, like a historic disaster. And he's like, but I guess that might be good. You'd be infamous for it. I thought that was so funny.
This one has that shit with Melissa where she's scared as fuck of kiwis.
Oh yeah,
because she's allergic.
Finds out she's allergic.
Yeah. And she's walking around with the EpiPen like, you gotta stick me with this shit. Like she's just like showing it to everybody. And then she freaks out on stage after eating the pie. And Paula, beforehand, she goes up to the kid with the
Junior
with the
Adelbert, right?
Yeah, Junior. She goes to Junior.
Yeah.
And she's like, fucking you gotta stick me, bro. Like it's over. I'm about to die, cuz. And then he oh God, he's shaking his shit. He like, I always had like a crush on you. He's like, yeah, I know, nigga. Just put it in my leg. and Paula explains to us like, no, I got key lime pie. Like, why the fuck would I buy?
I switched it out last minute.
Yeah. And then like Melissa and Junior share a moment, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Because she's like, you know, you like practically saved my life. No, the fuck he didn't. He didn't do anything. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? And then they go in for a fucking kiss. And she sticks him in the neck with the EpiPen. Yeah. And then he dies. Junior fucking dies.
Wait, he actually dead?
No, he doesn't die. No. He's just like he like
did I miss
out.
That? No, because he's in the finale. He's one of the people in the finale giving him feedback.
And he's like twitching and shit while he's singing during the finale.
Yeah, I like this one. This is up there in my in my ranking. I really like this episode. There's so many funny moments, and also just a great premise, and like the songs are so funny. And great characters. Lots of great Shannon, lots of great Fenton. It's a good one. I'm a big fan. Bye Greasy.
It's pretty funny.
All right, you want to move on? 404, the Heart Smashers. We finally reached Septopus. We're here. We are at Septopus. And yeah, I had forgotten that Fenton wrote the Septopus song. I totally forgot that Fenton is the one who came up with the Septopus song. And then not only that is like, it's so funny when he just starts, he's like not listening to anything Brendan wants, and none of the stuff he wants to do with Septopus makes sense. He's like, I got this song, I'm going to sing it. And it's so silly and like doesn't make any sense. But then the fact that Jason and Melissa immediately start singing in. They're just like, we're sold. Septopus. It's so funny. I love the Septopus stuff so much. Oh man, it's great.
This one has that Paul is dating that weird guy.
Yeah, the guy who can't take a hint.
Yeah, she keeps trying to break up with him. He's like this fucking manipulative dickhead. Like she's like, say, oh, I don't think it's gonna work out, and he starts crying. She's like, all right, never mind. and
the moment that she's like, all right, we're not broken up, he's just like back to normal eating his dinner. He's not like, he's fucking
like, what the fuck? And then that's why like you don't care as an audience member when they're just like laying on lawn chairs and he's just fucking dying. Like he's trying to like put the shit on the moving van, right, and it's like falling on him and shit, and everybody's just kind of watching. Hey, Brendan and McGurk are like, so like, are you dating him? She's like, no. Does he know that?
Does he know that? I love that. Oh man, the McGurk's peck subplot is really gross.
Yeah, I just looked down at my notes and it says McGurk boobs.
They're gross when they're strong and when they pop. Like they're gross both
They're
times.
Gross or strong though.
yeah, I agree. Man.
Sick shit.
That's gross. Okay, so I wrote down that I love that Fenton throughout, this is just a little piece of continuity I love, that he continues to call them video films. In every appearance,
love it.
He calls them
good.
video films. And that was also something his mom did, right? Wasn't his mom like when his mom was hiring Brendan, was like, you gotta make a video film for Fenton.
Because that's who Brendan explains it to. He's like, you don't have to, you could just say video, like that's it.
Or film. Yeah. I really liked when they're recasting Fenton and they're auditioning Walter and Perry, and they're like, all right, well, we'll get back to you. And Jason's like, no, I think we could just tell him now. And they're like, that's not very professional, Jason. He's like, you've got the part. He just gives them the part without discussing it at all with them. I thought that was so funny.
That's something I noticed is that, like, I think Jason, like, just really likes Walter and Perry. Like, I think he secretly wants to always be around them.
There's the one, is it the hiatus episode where he hangs out with Walter and Perry the whole time? Yeah, like he does kind of like Walter and Perry. I love Walter and Perry. I think they're so funny. Some of my favorite side characters in the show.
My last note for this episode is murder, because there's that whole bit at the end where they're just like, we gotta kill somebody. We can kill Fenton. You can kill this guy. You're like, what do you want to do? And Jason's just like, and then like when they finally get to the like, all right, we'll kill him. And then Jason's like, well, I've been fucking saying that for the past 30 minutes. Like, thank you for finally agreeing with me. Like, he really wants to kill somebody.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Like, there's a lot of fun stuff in it. The Septipus stuff. This is I think an example of an episode where I'm like, oh, like the premise isn't as strong or cohesive, but there's just so many great things in it that make me laugh.
I like that everybody has something to do. I like that Paula has her stuff and McGurk has his stuff with his titties. And Brendan and the gang got that stuff with Finn. I like that.
I do too. Deli, you got any other thoughts on this one?
Nah, it's pretty cozy.
Pretty cozy. All right, let's move on to 405. We're at the Wizard's Baker. My first note is just I love this movie. Like the movie that they're trying to figure out how to finish. Like I think it's so funny. It's so funny.
Yeah, I like it.
That's like one of my few. That's one of my few notes about this episode. I feel like I was so invested in the Wizard's Baker movie, and then I was just like the rest of them. They were like, "We got to try to finish this movie," and I feel like I barely engaged with the rest of it.
Well, my first note is that they're so bad at pitching because they keep going to everybody's crib to try to get money, and they're like talking over each other every fucking time. It's so bizarre. And then like Brendan decreasingly is less and less interested in the fact that like he's like, man, I don't even fucking care. Like I just don't want to fucking make this shit. You know what I mean? And I feel him, and I like that. I like that they man, one thing I really like about home movies, especially like after being a film student and all that stuff, is that they really take the time to put Brendan through a lot of the things that like happens in the creative process. And that's definitely one of them. There's definitely been times where like the people around me cared about the thing that was mine way more than I did. I want to just move the fuck on and do something else. But everybody's like, nah, man, we can just do this. We can do that. We can finish it. And like, I kind of don't want to.
I get that for sure. Yeah. I've been on both ends of that, where sometimes it's like, all right, I know you're into this, but I don't care. And sometimes where I'm like, I really want to do this thing and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The McGurk buying the swords was a weird little.
Oh yeah, that does happen in this, doesn't it?
He just buys a bunch of swords and then tries to return them. Why did he buy them?
He was like, I think he was watching like paid programming.
Yeah, it was pay-per-view. Yeah.
There
was the shopping network, home shopping network, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I do like the last beat where they're such failures as pitching their project the whole time, and then Jason's just like, well, all I got is this check for $30,000.
And then he's like, let's start a college fund, and everybody's like, man, shut the fuck up. I don't want to do that.
Oh man, I
don't fucking do that. I think that might be my favorite moment in the episode is when they play the clip of the movie to try to like during the like Brendan's thing at the what is it, like the Boy Scouts or some shit like that, when Jason and Melissa play the clip of the movie and Brendan like visibly cringes and he like can't look and he's like, yo, turn that off, like he like freaks the fuck out. I love that. That's so real. That's really real. I love that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's super relatable.
And my last thing is that the Wizard Baker song is like used as a motif through the episode. When they go back to Brendan, a lot of the time they just play a soft piano version of that song.
I didn't notice. That's nice.
Yeah,
I'll go back and listen to that.
It's cool shit. I like that they did that.
Yeah. All right, you guys, any other thoughts on the Wizard's Baker?
That's all my notes. What you got, Deli?
Well, I don't know. I have trouble with this one because it seems like it should be engaging premise in theory, but it feels like there's a lot going on. Like Johnny said, it's like They're they're trying to sell this movie, and Brendan's not into it, so he's just gonna fucking avoid them, which is interesting. But they spent a lot of time on the Wizard's Baker and how bad they are putting it together, and then in the last piece where they're at the fucking Boy Scouts thing, and they pitch it, and it's a mess, and I don't know, it's messy in a way that is not as easily understandable. I guess it's not as easy to like fall into it as it would be normally, so it's a weird one. I don't really know how to feel about it.
Yeah, I feel the same way as you, Deli. I don't know what to make of it. There's things in it I like. There's like little things about it I like, but as a whole, it was I struggled to engage. Maybe we all felt like Brendan did. Maybe that was the point. We all felt like Brendan did about
advanced performance art.
That's right.
All right, let's move on to 406. Psychodelicate. I really like the idea that they just go to the video store and are like, can you try to rent out our movies? Like, just tell them that a bunch of kids made these and people might be interested. And I love that they do that. And I feel like if they had asked anyone other than a 22-year-old film student, they would have probably whoever, like someone else probably would have been like, yeah, I guess there's no harm in just putting your dumb little movies up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but instead they found the most fucking pretentious person on the face of the, like, that group, like films, like early 20s film students are some of the worst people to ever talk to
about movies.
I can say that as I am approaching my mid-20s. A couple years ago, I was fucking awful to talk to.
That's the thing. It's like thinking about what I was like in film school and like how I talked about film. It's like, oh yeah, film students are in a lot of ways insufferable, just insufferable, and it's because they've like what's the effect of the Kruger-Dunning effect? Is that it? Where you, the more you learn about something, the more you realize you don't know much about it, and that like there's so much more to learn. And so like film students on that in the chart are like at the point where they're like, I know everything about film. And then the more they learn about it, the more they're like, oh my God, there's so much to know about film. And it like they realize that they know less and less than they think they do, until they finally at a certain point start to do, like they're like, oh yeah, now they do start to like actually learn, and the graph starts to go back up. And that is like, that's how I've always seen film students, is like they're at that first point where they're like, they think they know everything. And once they enter, like, entering the real world is when you like, you still learn plenty, but like that's when you realize, oh, there's so much to learn. There's so many things to learn. Yeah. And
like the thing I noticed in film school was just like all these kids, right? Everybody they get to film school and everybody just wants to fucking make Citizen Kane. You know what I mean? Like when you when you're assigned to finally do your film, like your thesis or whatever, everybody's like trying to come up with these deep psychological, oh, the fucking curtain is gray, like all this like stupid shit. And it's like, you're a fucking kid. Like, just have fun. What? You're with your friends and you want to make some shit where like, he's like, oh, we got to rent the police station. Right. No, don't fucking do that. If anybody is listening to this and is in film school, bro, just have fun. The equipment is free.
You're gonna learn how hard it is to make things. My piece of advice, and I think this is especially useful for film students when they're writing what they are going to make, because like, yeah, you've got the resource, you got a lot of resources, but like there's a lot of other types of resources that are difficult to come by when you're a film student. The best, I think this is generally good advice across the board, but especially if you're writing student films, is deep, complicated characters, simple premises. Like if your premise and setting is overly complicated, it's going, like, your characters are going to get lost in the like whatever overly complicated story you're trying to tell. But if you have
making
good,
a
deep
fucking feature,
right? Exactly. Like, just start with the characters, start with interesting character dynamics, and like and you can build interesting conflict in simple settings, and that's going to be more useful to you than coming up with like the craziest premise for a movie. Anyone can be like, wouldn't a movie be crazy if this happened? But like,
right.
Yeah. Getting to the core of the characters is important.
I think too, it's like, I don't know. One thing I also learned is that everybody in film, like, there's this like, it's this like weird dick measuring contest of like, what's your favorite movie and the kind of movies that you watch, and like when you get
very pretentious.
Yeah, and it's like everybody wants to fucking, what's your favorite movie? Oh, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, motherfucking Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind. Like, shut the fuck up. You're not watching Gone with the Wind. Yeah, like, you're not watching that shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, and I know that because I was a part of that. Like, when they asked me, right, when I got to film school and they asked me what my favorite movie was, I think they asked for 3. And I was very honest with my first 2. I said Roger Rabbit and Scott Pilgrim.
Dude, Scott Pilgrim was one I talked about a lot in college too.
It's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
So like Roger Rabbit, Scott Pilgrim, like I said those 2. I was very honest there. Then my stupid ass said, what did I say? I said Pulp Fiction. Shut the fuck up. I don't even own the Pulp Fiction DVD. Like, why the fuck did I say that?
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
It's a fucking great movie. I love it.
It's you trying to give an answer that impress your classmates, right?
Whoa, he got his mind, he got his head on. Man, right. No. If you ask me that shit today, I'll probably say Roger Rabbit, Top 5 by Chris Rock, and Do the Right Thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you talk to me, you could see all 3 of those movies in me. You know what I mean? So like,
I remember when we had to write a paper about him. I guess the premise was like, what's your favorite movie? But it was mostly like, I didn't necessarily go with my favorite movie. I went with a movie that was like, I could talk about why I love this movie forever, and it's up there. Yeah. And the funniest thing is like, I was in college a few years after The Dark Knight came out, and they were like, nobody can choose The Dark Knight. Nobody can choose The Dark Knight. We got too many about the goddamn Dark Knight last year. Nobody can talk about The Dark Knight. But so what I did Shaun of the Dead. Even though that's not even my favorite of that trilogy. I like Hot Fuzz more, although at the time I might have liked Shaun of the Dead more. But I kind of used it to talk about why I liked Edgar Wright's style of filmmaking, and why I love that he's able to make like strong, engaging premises within a specific niche genre, while also like kind of parodying and paying homage to that genre in like such an impressive way. So like it's like it's almost having your cake and eating it too. Like, I want to pay respect to all of these things and also make my own that is great, and right. And in the way Hot Fuzz is such a fun buddy cop movie, and Shaun of the Dead is such a great zombie movie. So like, I feel like finding, I don't know, it's not always just about like, what will they be most like, what movie will make me sound the most impressive. It's just like, what do you care about in movies? Like, what do you really care about?
Yeah. True enjoyment of media is not giving a fuck whatsoever. Like, I can have many a conversation about the Fast and the Furious movies because they're so fucking funny. Yeah. And they're like awesome, like this fucking testosterone everywhere, flipping and all this stupid. It's so fucking, I love it. It's so good. But like, I guess if you let like a film professor tell it, like, they're like badly put together movies, incoherent or whatever. Right. It's like, so I had fun. And
but I even found that like my professors were like, I feel like they be more interested in hearing why you love a movie that they don't necessarily like than just hearing somebody talk for the 50th time about Godfather Part 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like they're more interested in getting to know you through what media you consume and why you like that than they are judging you based on, like judging your film opinions and judging your film taste. You know what I mean? Like, they want to they're interested in you being true to yourself, sir, I guess I can only speak for my film professors, but I I'm sure there's plenty.
But I
yeah.
get you though. But I feel like that's just what a good professor in general, right?
Totally.
Like not even. I mean, yeah, it probably was yours, but like, and you know, not every professor is like that. But I feel like that should be like the standard, right? It should be like, who are these kids? What can I learn about them from the movies that they like?
Totally.
And how can I use that to reach these kids? You know what I mean?
Reach these kids. I love it.
South Park tomorrow night. That's not tomorrow night. That's next week. Never mind.
No,
Scratch
it's
that.
tomorrow.
I didn't say that.
No, wait. Oh, you're right.
Next
Wait,
week, right?
no. It's tomorrow night, dude. It's tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night.
Okay. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, South Park. But yeah, saying that to say the guy that they went up to fucking sucks. Dickhead, wouldn't sell any movies. They went up to the worst possible guy.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a strong like side character. It's like that's a great obstacle for them to put into this story. I feel like the rest of the episode, like of them trying to finish the movie, didn't quite engage me as much as like that initial premise of him being like, you got to make a thing for the film festival. The McGurk plotline was pretty funny, where he's just like overly tipping this waitress the whole time.
Right. Yeah. And then, which I feel as though I feel. All right. How am I going to say this? I get why he was mad. Because she was like, I feel like you would have just assumed that I had a boy. Why the fuck would he do that?
Right. Yeah, I actually like it's actually one of the situations where I'm like, oh, McGurk wasn't McGurk wasn't being a total dickhead in this situation. He's so bad at attracting women throughout the show. And this was mostly like, granted, he probably shouldn't have been focusing primarily on like monetarily, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he was like, he took it slow. He got to know her. He got her a role in the movie and got to know what she was doing. And then was like, yeah, we should go out as the time came to do that. It actually felt very natural.
Absolutely. He took it very, very, and granted, just cause he was tipping her and he fucking, he got her like a part in the movie, it doesn't fucking mean that she owes him anything. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Like, she
She's
doesn't
got the right to say
anything.
no, even if she didn't have a boyfriend. She's free to say no. But
Absolutely.
he was pretty respectful about it. Yeah.
Exactly. My problem is that she thought it was implied somehow. There was no implication whatsoever. Totally. That's why I felt like he had a right to be upset. Because it's like, what? Why would you think that I thought that? Like, it just never came up. I don't know.
Oh, man. Okay. What is with... So, remember at the beginning of the episode, Paula gets her hair cut and then tips her hairdresser. What was he trying to say when he was like, I have sex with your mother. I'm having the sex with your mother. And then she's just like, oh, we have to go. And he's like, what'd I say? What'd I do? He doesn't know what he doesn't know what's wrong.
I think bro was saying that. I think, all right, I'm about to try to walk through this. I think he was saying that Paula looked so good that he would duff. All right.
But even that is like, why
I keep using my slang on a podcast.
But he should know. But he should know. But like, it's that to me doesn't explain. Like, his reaction is almost like he doesn't realize that he was saying something overtly sexual in front of kids. You know what I mean? Like, his reaction is like, "What happened? What did I do?" You know what I mean? Like, he has no idea. I don't know. I thought that was funny though.
It is funny.
Yeah.
Even though we just bagged on the waitress, she's pretty funny when she does that. When she acts blind is really funny.
Yes.
In front of McGurk. I like that shit.
There's one line she said that I cracked up at when she was doing accents, and she is just like a European one, eh? And he's like that's Canadian, right? And he's like, where do you think Europe is? In Mexico?
I just looked down.
Such a good line.
I just looked down at my notes, and it says I wrote I don't remember writing this. I wrote, Fred having a boyfriend makes me sick to my stomach. Her name was Fred.
Oh, her name was Fred. Right. Okay. Yeah. And it turned out to be the guy that he was like had a rivalry with the musician,
was fucking
right?
feuding with. Yeah. Melissa randomly says that Jason has fat fingers. And I just thought that was fucked up. Like, I was like, why the fuck did she do that?
Yeah, but to be fair, Jason does just kind of offhandedly say fucked up things to Melissa sometimes too.
Sometimes. It's like every other episode.
Yeah, it's really common.
He roasts the shit out of her any chance he gets.
Yeah,
that is absolutely true.
And then he also has the gall in some episodes to be like, well, yeah, but I'm still gonna marry Melissa.
Yeah.
When McGurk is like free, well, first of all, when McGurk is yelling at Fred because she has a boyfriend, he does some really sick shit. He asks for his tips back, which I think is inhumane.
Yeah.
Let me get my tips back. But then,
absolutely, when
they're like arguing, he says something. So he says like, "How come you're not dumb anymore?" Like suddenly when like when he wants his bread back, she's like really, really smart. And he's like, what the fuck?
Right. That's so funny. All right, you guys got any thoughts on this one, Psychodelicate? This is one I didn't expect that we'd have so much to talk about, but we did.
McGurk begs Brendan to put her in the movie, and that shot is so sad. When he's like on his knees, it's so sad. I think that might be the last thing I have here. But yeah,
I did like I like how like when they're like, where are we gonna get a tall blonde actress? And Brendan's like, I know where we can get a tall blonde actress. He like sinks into his seat. Like he's like, fuck, I know somebody. That's so good. Dell, you got any other thoughts on this one?
Nah, I think y'all covered it basically.
we really had a lot to say about this one. All right, we're at 407 curses. We're at the one that was made for this episode, even though I don't have that many notes about it. I mostly have notes about cursing. My first note is thousands of porn. When they're talking about it in the Weird Science movie that they make, is like they were downloading with thousands of porn.
Did you say that on purpose?
What? That is Weird Science?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say, that was my note. I'm like, it's just fucking Weird Science.
Yeah, it is. It's just Weird Science.
Have you seen Weird Science?
I saw Weird Science when I was like a kid, when I was like pretty young. And so like, I haven't seen it as an adult. And I remember thinking it was funny as a kid. But I have a feeling, I have a feeling that movie has got a lot of problems.
Bro, I watched Weird Science for the first time like as soon as the pandemic started, bro. Like it was
no way.
ASAP. Like, and I watched it with like my best friend. I watched it with her family. And I was just watching. I'm like, what the fuck? Like that shit is, Weird Science is sick, movie. Fam. That's a sick ass movie. I recognized it immediately. I was like, they're just doing Weird Science.
They're just doing Weird Science. Yeah. The thing that I think really holds up in Weird Science that I still love is the soundtrack is all Oingo Boingo. Like the Weird Science song is Oingo Boingo, which is Danny Elfman's band. And that band is so weird, but they're so good and they got such a funny vibe. But yeah, the whole Weird Science theme song is Oingo Boingo, and the Weird Science theme song rules. Like Weird Science. It's great. Yeah, good stuff. One of my notes here is lots of cursing this season. And then I love Walter and Perry cursing. I think Walter and Perry cursing is really funny.
It is really funny.
Yeah.
Eric's in this one. Only
Eric's
episode
in this
of the season.
one. Wait, is this really the only one?
It took me till half an hour after I watched the finale to go, wait, Eric's not even in the finale.
Yeah. It took me until after the whole season to be like, oh my God, Andrew and Linda weren't in the whole season. Like they just abandoned that storyline. Yeah, it's interesting. They made some interesting choices with
and Eric spends most of this episode with his fucking tongue down this chick's throat. You know what I mean? Like
that's right. That's right. It was
Begging
funny.
for
That was
Melissa's
kind of a funny
forgiveness.
premise for them. Yeah, for them to do with like McGurk and Eric, like trying to pick up women in class. um,
Yeah.
yeah.
That whole sequence of McGurk trying to pick up the journal woman, and then just getting left. It was like drawn out as fuck. And then he just looks over at Eric, and they're already they've been to
Fucking
town.
tonguing it.
They're
Yeah,
getting to the capital. Like it's like
it's
you know,
so crazy.
it's nuts.
That shit is so fucking bizarre. Eric is like he's like a new breed in this one.
Yeah. McGurk's writing his fucking name in a journal, and Eric is going to town already. Like it's not even a contest.
One of the things I pointed out about the episode is that like McGurk sort of genuinely tries with the journal stuff. Once he realizes that like nobody's like fucking with him, he like I might as well try. And then like he like rents like equipment and like tries to do this whole thing. And like he sucks, but like I felt bad that he sucked because it felt like he was like genuinely trying.
He was being genuine. Yeah, he was actually being genuine for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Journey
good point.
to the center of McGirth.
I thought the pun though of Journey to the Center of McGurk was funny. When he said that, I was like, ha! I was like just a one like ha.
I want to mention this before either of y'all get to it because it's it's fucking good. There's a point where McGurk and Brendan talk about the movie that he has to recut because there's so much swearing in it, and all the parents get angry, and they make him change it. Where McGurk makes a suggestion to Brendan about how they cut movies, and at the tail end, like the last 5 seconds,
so funny.
It's so good.
It's so funny.
I don't even want to fucking say it. It's so good.
It's so funny. You know what we're talking about, right, Johnny?
No, wait, no, I missed
the fucking when he when they're like it's like Brendan, McGurk, and Eric, I think, outside talking.
I think so.
Because the movie's playing in the house, like all the parents are watching the movie and they're outside and they're talking. And then there's like this loud reaction. And then like what's going on in there? He's like, they're watching the movie. It was kind of ass, so I just threw in like a clip of two dogs fucking. And McGurk was like, "Oh, the footage I gave you."
The footage I gave you. The footage I gave you.
And then Eric says, "Just two."
Just two,
which is so fucking.
And then they spliced in like 2 frames of dogs fucking.
They do that.
That's like the best part,
they do
dude.
that, yeah. They do that. They definitely
so
do that. Yeah, this is pretty fucking funny. Yeah, I don't know. It's just this one was all right. I think the most interesting thing that happens to Brendan in this one is that Paula literally censors him, and just him having to deal with just like censorship in general in his films as a kid. When it kind of reminded me, I swear this story is going to be short. It reminded me of when I was in high school. When I was in high school, a lot of people know I was doing an animated show called Power K. I brought it up on here a couple of times. And it's not a fucking kid cartoon. It's like swearing and stuff in it. And but the school really liked it because like what kid is making a cartoon like in his house? So they around the end of my time at high school, they got behind it. There was at one point they like put it on a TV in the fucking like on the walk-in. Like as soon as you walk into school, it was like on the TV. And some kid, I still don't know who the fuck it was. Some kid told the principal that they were cursing in the cartoon, so they took it down. And when it came time to do the last episode, I wanted to like do this big thing and like play it in the auditorium at the school and like have everybody come and see it. So I thought it'd be cool. And the principal said, "Yeah, you could do it. Just make sure they don't curse." And I was like, okay. It's the filthiest fucking episode I ever wrote. It's so gross. They couldn't. What the fuck are you gonna do to me? It was like a week before graduation, fam. You can't do shit to me. So like I was like, fuck it, bro. My fucking grandfather was in the audience and shit, man. Did
he like it?
Yeah, you know what?
It was supposed to be
I don't think I ever asked him. I think I was always too scared to ask him.
I'm sure he was proud of you. No matter what, like, no matter what he thought about the subject matter, like the fact that you as a high school student made that shit, I'm sure he was just proud as hell. Like that's I think about that with my grandparents a lot. My grandparents don't understand anything about what I do, but they're just constantly like, we're impressed. We don't know how or what you're doing, but we're just amazed that you're doing it.
We know you're doing something.
They're like, you know something. Yeah, you're paying your rent and you don't ask us for help, and you know what I mean? They're just like, you really just drove to LA and like are doing it. And I'm like, yep, I did it. Yeah.
It's good shit.
Man. So yeah. That's good. I think that is a fair. That's a good anecdote to bring up from that piece of the episode, Tariq.
Sometimes you just kind of gotta do what you want. Like Brent, even it reminded me of Brendan, because Brendan just kind of was like, I don't like what you made me make, so let me put this one part in for myself to say fuck you. I'm gonna do what I want. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, like I just kind of feel like that's like. I just get it, man. Like being censored sucks. Like I just get it. I just get it.
Totally. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to
the deli episode.
We're here. We're at the one. Honky Magoo.
Honky Magoo, baby.
Oh man. That little dog. That little goddamn dog. I will say, I was not prepared. Like, even though I remembered this episode, I was not prepared to for how viscerally grossed out it would be at the first like farty, poopy, puppy moment where they were like, where Lynch was like, this little dog, and then they do the farts, and I'm just like, oh, that's pretty visceral fart sound.
No, fuck you talking about the fart shit. Flies out of the dog's ass. Did you not see this?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about the sound. I was like, ew, like doo-doo. Like it was really poopy. Like I was like, man, what the fuck? Duty. Man, so I don't like that shit. Yeah, is this? Oh, that's later. That's a later episode. Oh, it's literally the next one. The season is fucking gross. Jason spits on Brendan like 3 fucking times in the next episode, and I fucking hate it.
If we're talking about gross shit, we got to bring up the tail end where Honky Magoo goes crazy, and he starts licking everybody in the audience, and he gets to Walter and Perry, and he starts humping them. And they're like, oh my god, oh, help us. They're like, oh, wait, oh no. And they start doing the Bruce shit. They're like, oh no. Wait, what?
This whole episode is like, how about the like sexist vet character where he's just like, some animals are emotionally.
What the fuck was that
about? some animals are emotionally unstable, just like beautiful ladies. What? Nothing.
Like what? What kind of stray is that?
Quirk, and I also like the quirk that he keeps saying these messed up things and then immediately being like, nothing. Didn't say anything.
Like he just gotta get that shit off his chest. Like he just but he doesn't really want anybody to hear him. Okay, so it is made very clear through my notes that I didn't enjoy this one that much. Because I thought it was kind of gross. And I wrote there's a lot of yelling and characters being annoying this season. And I think that's why this might be my least favorite season. You ever notice how much they yell? They yell a lot this season.
Yeah.
They yell a lot, and there's a lot of like characters like nagging each other and just kind of being really annoying. The note before I wrote that says, fuck this bird. I think I think I wrote that when it started talking. When it started talking, I was like, all right, bro, damn.
Right. So my one thing I wrote down that I just thought was kind of a crazy weird coincidence is that how Melissa really wanted to name the dog Mr. Pickles, and then Adult Swim had a show about a dog later called Mr. Pickles. That's so weird. That's such a weird coincidence.
I thought about that too.
And there's another weird coincidence that we'll talk about later in the season that I think maybe Tariq you realized too. We'll talk about at the end, but there's just some weird relations to other cartoons going on.
Oh shit! You know what? I forgot because we went on the film tangent earlier, but I feel like because it wasn't really like a specific note, but obviously like there's one of the last few episodes of Clarence has like a very clear. Like they just put Brendan in the fucking episode.
Oh yeah, they do that.
And Clarence
he's like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, he's like the film student, huh?
Yeah, and I do wonder like if he did sneak some of his like really old movies in there for them to watch because he was recommending them shit.
Oh man.
Oh, we should listen to that.
I've always wondered that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a good episode. Clarence is
great. I completely forgot that they make him like that. He's exactly like that.
Yeah,
wow.
And they brought
That's
Brendan
really
Small
funny.
back just to voice him. It was pretty cool.
That is
nice.
cool. I like that. I like when shows are just like, we really love this show, and so we're just gonna do that in this. And like it's I love OKKO was so good at that. Where there's like, we fucking love Captain Planet, so we're gonna literally bring in Captain Planet. We fucking love Sonic, we're gonna literally bring in Sonic. You know,
dude, did you fucking did you see the Teen Titans Go episode where they brought in Freakazoid?
No, I never saw that.
But it was cool.
So metal.
It was cool, but it was like, why the fuck are they doing this? I guess because they can.
I thought you were gonna bring up the one where they brought in De La Soul, which was also pretty.
That episode was fucking rad. I love that episode.
Yeah,
but, like,
you know what? I did a video for back when I used to work for Nerdist. I did a video about like how cartoons connect and creating this like ridiculous multiverse, and we connected over 150 cartoons, and just in the last minute you guys have mentioned 2 new ones that I'm like, I could have added this to the list. And there's like so many more. There's so many more I know that I could add in there. But yeah, because we had Clarence in there, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't have home movies. Should have had home movies in there.
Did you put in the segment from that Gumball episode where they were watching TV for so long that they had gone into like 4 different other shows?
I maybe did. There was so much in there. It's actually cool. I'll show you guys the materials we did. You know what the funny thing is? We were gonna make that video. Me and my friend Hector Navarro, who's great. If you guys have ever listened to the SpongeBob podcast, the official SpongeBob podcast on Nickelodeon, which is brand new, Hector is hosting that. He's also the host of the Nick Animation podcast, which doesn't exist anymore, but he was the host of that. But he and I had been, since we started the show, we were just like brainstorming, like, how do all these things connect? How can we create the craziest web of interconnected cartoon universes? And we were planning it out. And then we literally got to do an episode of our show where we interviewed Ian Jones-Cordy right when OKKO came out. And while we were, or it was after the first season, when season 2 was coming out, and we interviewed him. And after we finished, we brought up the Captain Planet thing he did. And we were like, yeah, we're trying to do all this thing where we connect all these things. And he was like, I can't tell you why, but just wait a little bit. And literally, like, within a few months was when the Cartoon Nexus event happened. And that was what we built. Yeah. And that was what we built the whole video off of, was that. And so like, we literally got that inside track, and he was just like, we have something cooking that's going to change how you do this, so just wait. And we're like, thanks, dude. We really appreciate it.
That's good shit. I love it. Yeah. That's good shit.
It was great. Cool. All right, let's wait, Deli, you named yourself Honky Magoo. Do you have more to say about Honky Magoo before we move on?
Nah, that episode is fucking gross.
It's fucking. I don't know, man.
You're literally doo-doo the fool over there. Like,
oh man,
duty.
Yeah. All right. I think this title is so funny, especially because this is now the curses season, the season of cursing. This 409 is called "Those Bitches Tried to Cheat Me."
Right.
I just like the idea of Jason being like, "Hey, Brendan, I have a crush on this girl. Can you introduce me to her?" And it's like Brendan's like, "I don't know her. Like, I don't know her." It's so funny to me that was Jason's plan, was just like, I can't introduce myself, so someone else who's never met her will introduce me to her. And then he bails, of course. And like that's a fun conflict where like she's just like, oh yeah, sure, your friend has a crush on me. It's your friend. And yeah, it's funny. It's a good premise. But my favorite thing about this episode is like the tone of the like the Hitchcockian tone of the test answer stealing story. Like the whole thing with Brendan finding the test answers for the test and being the only one to get the A+, and then everyone else basically blackmailing him to steal more test answers. Like the music they do, and the like some of the small sequences, like the sequence when he ditches the test answers in the dumpster, they're like, it's got a very like suspenseful, like Hitchcockian vibe where it's like that's like, and I appreciated that the tone for that episode. The only other one I can think of that did that was like the when Brendan got hit by the car, like the way they did that opening scene.
Yeah, I remember that.
But that was what I liked most about this episode, was that subplot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one. I think my only like big laugh was Brendan imitating Woody Allen. Is so funny because it's so spot on. When he's like in the movie,
dude, I wrote down that too. The Woody Allen parody is so funny.
Yeah, they're like doing Manhattan. It's so funny.
Oh man. Yeah, like Brendan being Woody Allen is so funny to me.
Yeah. But you know, this one has the one. This is the one where Jason spits on Brendan.
Right.
Not a fan.
Yeah. So you're not a fan.
Not a fan. Stop spitting on me. He spits on him like 3 times. It's
Jason is nuts in this one. He's just kind of a little dickhead in this episode.
Yeah.
Del, you got anything about this one?
Nah, I mean, it's I feel like they kind of just like planned the whole episode around that one title, because when it's dropped, it's like it's one of those moments where you should be like, ah, shit, they said it.
Right.
But it's kind of inconsequential, and I feel like it kind of sums up half of the vibe of season 4. And I don't feel strongly about this episode in particular, like either way. But it is kind of like, oh, okay, well, you can do that, I guess. Because at least the Honky Magoo was like, there was a lot of shit happening. Literally, a lot of shit happening. But, you know, this one's just kind of like, okay, I guess you can do that now. This is the closest thing to filler that you'll get in home movies.
Feel that.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. All right, well, let's move on to 410 then.
Yeah.
Cho and the Adventures of Amy Lee. This is another one where I was like kind of not crazy into the premise, but really into certain moments. Like there's little aspects of this episode that I wrote down that I was just like, I love this moment, love this moment, love this moment.
Yeah. Likewise.
I love the line, it's hard to say woo without putting your hands up. Like when Melissa's trying to be the ghost, like woo, and she's like, put your hands down. He's like, it's hard to do without putting your hands up. It's so dumb. It's just so stupid. And then Walter and Perry getting the bloodlust, going kill to show to like scare him off is so funny to me. Yeah, what do you guys moments in this one you like?
I like Brendan fighting his grandfather.
I wrote that too.
I like that. I like that like Brendan like puts him on his ass a couple times and then he keeps getting back up, and like Brendan is like laughing at first, but then after a while he's like, it's just not even funny anymore. Like, I don't fucking like hitting you.
Right. Right.
I also like the I always pronounce the name of the movie wrong. Amelie. I like the Amelie parody.
Yeah.
which, you know, obviously, when I saw this as a kid, I didn't get because I didn't know what the fuck Amelie was, but I saw it in college. And now it always trips me out when I see cartoons reference it, because there's a Simpsons episode that pays homage to it. Like, it's relatively recent. It tripped me out. I was like, oh shit, is that Amelie? And I like the McGurk stuff. I like Dancing McGurk, and I like that he cries when he hears the bagpipes.
Yeah, I love dancing sequence. I really like the dancing sequence with McGurk.
Yeah.
And I also like when Brendan gives him the kilt, and they're just like, why would you give him a kilt, Brendan? And he just goes, because he's a Scottish Highland dancer. Perfect reason to give him a kilt. It's super funny to me. Yeah, Deli, you got any thoughts on this one?
I like it more. It's more difficult for me to think of like moments of it because I don't just remember really liking it. And I guess this sounds kind of lame because it is home movies, but it feels like it's like forward-thinking character development. It's like, yeah, they're helping people with the movies and shit. Like this is really cool.
Right.
Other than that scene of Brendan and McGurk looking at the photo album, I don't know. I just think it's a good episode.
I don't know. Just seeing like the kid Cho, and like it's kind of, I don't know. It's, to me it was kind of like a lesser version of the first plot where Brendan fights Shannon. And he has to learn how to fight, and he's got this bully, and it's like a ticking clock and all this shit. I don't know. It just kind of was. I didn't like the kid that much. I didn't think he was really that funny. So like, I just kind of I was just kind of tapped out on that whole side of the story. The most enjoyment I got out of it was seeing Brendan and his grandfather. That's probably the most enjoyment I got out of that part of the plot.
Yeah, I really like the Brendan and his grandfather stuff. I really like the Scottish Highland dancer stuff. Really like Walter and Perry. But yeah, I wasn't too drawn to the Cho stuff personally. But yeah, there are some nice moments. Deli, you brought up some really nice moments in this one. But yeah. All right, so we move on to 411.
Let's do it.
Great title. Definite possible murder.
Oh, this is the fucking. This is just. Oh yeah, my first note is. Yeah, my first note is. Oh, dude, they're just doing Rear Window. Whatever.
I wrote. Oh, it's the Rear Window one.
So this is one of the ones I've never seen. So when it started, I was like, oh, this is fucking Rear Window. Like I didn't. I don't know. I was just like, oh,
everything does a Rear Window eventually, right? Like
I guess.
But you know what's crazy is that Rear Window is so good that most parodies of Rear Window are also good. It's not only just like there's obviously shows that have done it, like there's that classic Simpsons episode where Bart thinks that Flanders murdered Maude.
Bart of Darkness.
Yes, Bart of Darkness, exactly. But then even like down to, have you ever seen the movie Disturbia? It's Shia LaBeouf.
I've seen it, though.
It's literally just Rear Window, but it was made like 10 to 15 years ago, and it's starring Shia LaBeouf. He's put on home arrest rather than like breaking his leg, and his mom is Carrie-Anne Moss, one of the few other movies I've seen Carrie-Anne Moss on. She plays Trinity in The Matrix, and it's just a very similar Rear Window thing where he witnesses his neighbor do something, and he tries to solve what it is from next door while he's got like this ankle bracelet on from being on home arrest. And it's a pretty good movie. It's pretty good. And it's just cause like the suspense of that premise is so strong in any scenario of just being like, I saw someone do something I wasn't supposed to see. I have to figure out what I saw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to like figure it. I have to get to the bottom of it. Yeah, I don't know. I just always thought it's like there's so few Rear Window parodies that I'm like, yeah, that sucked. I'm like,
I was watching the Family Guy one the other day. They do it way later.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like it's like season 16. Like it's late.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Because it's part of an arc. There's an arc in Family Guy where Brian gets canceled on Twitter, so he moves out. And so like for like 3 to 4 episodes, he just doesn't live with them anymore. And he got like this apartment. And I think when he's like coming home one day, he fucks up and like breaks his leg, and then his leg's broken. And Stewie comes over, but Stewie only comes over because he thinks he saw Chris and Meg's principal kill his wife, like from across the street, across the window. And the end resolution of that, I think, is that the big bag that he was carrying that like looked like it had blood in it, it was actually like. It was full of like, it was like spaghetti or something like that from like the school lunches, and like the cops go like, oh nah man, it's okay, we'll just y'all could just serve that at the school next week. And then Stewie's like, they're gonna fucking serve that shit like after this.
Man,
but yeah, that one's all right.
This kind of makes me want to watch Rear Window. That movie's so good. Have you guys watched it? You guys seen the original?
No, I actually haven't.
Dude.
I have.
Okay.
I've seen a starkly low amount of Hitchcock, I think.
Well, here's the thing. Hitchcock made like 50 movies.
Oh, yeah.
So like it's like I've seen a handful, and I have a huge Blu-ray collection of like I have a set of a bunch of his movies, and I have some other ones that I bought on Criterion and a couple on 4K. And I'm kind of working my way through them because they're all like there's something cool about all of them. But Rear Window is like truly like great argument for his best movie, but it's not just because it's such a well-told story. The thing that I think you will really appreciate is how absolutely incredible the set is and the choreography required for that movie to work the way it did, because it's not created like they're just showing a bunch of individual people in their apartments. Like basically this guy's got his leg broken. He's sitting there and he's looking over this courtyard, and they made this entire set where you can see through over the courtyard and into like 6 different apartments. And they're literally coordinating every person doing what they're doing in their apartment at the same time.
That's
so you have this
good.
wide, it's incredible. It is truly incredible. Can't recommend Rear Window enough to anyone who hasn't seen it, or even if you have, just watch it again. It's really great.
Have you seen Notorious?
No, but I did. I think I bought a copy on Criterion, and it's one that I haven't popped in yet. But I gotta watch Notorious still.
I'm only bringing it up because as a 10-year-old black kid, I was very confused when I tried to Google the Biggie Smalls movie. And this black and white shit popped up.
I love that. My favorite Hitchcocks are like most people are like, Psycho, the Vertigo, The Birds, Rear Window. Rear Window is really good. And they're all great. All of those are great. But the one that I love is called Strangers on a Train. Strangers on a Train is amazing. It's the premise is that this guy is going home to see his he's going home, and he's like he and his wife he's trying to divorce his wife because like she was unfaithful, and they've got all this stuff going on. And he meets a guy in the train, and he kind of opens up to him, and the guy's like, well, I've got this person in my life who's a real problem to me too. It's like his dad or something. And he's like, he's going to leave me the house. And he's like, what if you killed my dad and I'll kill your wife? And the guy is just like, no, I'm not going to do that. But then the guy does it anyways. and so all of a sudden, like, it's just like this great, it's so good. It's like, it's so, I mean, obviously the dude's known as the master of suspense for a reason, but it is so suspenseful in such a great way.
What's so funny about that is that they just did that on Family Guy a couple
No
months
way.
ago.
They're just going through all the Hitchcocks.
They just did that
Send me the episode title of that, because I want to watch that.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. The other one I really like is Rope. Rope is cool. Rope.
I think I've seen Rope.
Rope rules. It all takes place in one apartment, and the premise is that like these two guys kill one of their classmates right before having everyone over to have a party, and they're like, and then they put him in this like this chest. And then everyone knows this guy and everyone knows them comes over for the party, and the whole time they have to talk around where he went and what happened to him, and like avoid revealing that they have their dead friend's dead body in the apartment. It's really good. It's really good. Man, I think Hitchcock's great. Love his films. Really good shit. I guess we should keep talking about this episode.
I'm looking at my notes. What else we got here? Paula says like some really fucking sick shit. Because they're talking about how the guy doesn't have any pictures of his wife. And then Paula says like, well, you know, she's Greek, and you know, the Greek woman ain't really that attractive. They got all that hair. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa.
Paula.
Yeah, what the fuck was that about? Yeah. This episode and the next one features Paula asking Brendan to do things that she just shouldn't be asking an 8-year-old kid to do. When they're at the dinner, and like the guy, first of all, he hammers it in. He keeps using like murderous fucking verbiage with everything he talks about. And he's doing that at the dinner table, and it's obviously bothering Brendan. So, and the whole time McGurk is he's bartending, she tells Brendan, why don't you go get a drink at the bar? And I was like, what the fuck? And he just gets up and goes over there.
Yeah.
And in the next one, in the next one when McGurk is blind, when they're at the doctor's office, she says, Brendan, go outside and start the car. What the fuck? Why would you?
That's funny. I'm going to say two more things about this one before we move on since we already started talking about temporary blindness a little bit. I really liked McGurk going through trying to learn to make the drinks. And, are these real drinks? He was like, oh, sex on ice, sex on the driveway, sex on the beach. Like sex on the driveway.
Sex on the driveway is so funny. That's really funny.
And then I also just like I know this is where the title of the episode comes from, but I liked it even completed when he finished the line where Brendan goes, definite possible murder that I maybe think I saw. And then I also just like the line when McGurk is pretending to make this guy his sex on the beach, and it's just beer, and the guy's just very formal, and he's like, I implore you, make me a sex on the beach. That line made me laugh a lot.
Which okay, you can keep sending him back. It's a waste of a good sex on the beach. He just fucking pours some beer.
He's just pouring more beers. It's so funny.
That whole bit is just like a back and forth of John Benjamin.
Yeah, it is. It's just John Benjamin show.
It's talking to him.
It's pretty funny. All right, you guys want to move on to temporary blindness?
Let's do it.
I'm going to be honest. I only have one note written for this one. This is the one
dude, I have 4.
Okay, well, I want my note is what the fuck? Why is McGurk's Jimmy Stewart impression good now? Because remember in another episode he did a bad Jimmy Stewart impression. He did the one where he's like, "It's me, I'm Jimmy Stewart from A Wonderful World," and this time he's like nailing it.
It's so good. It's so fucking good. And the one that got me the most was Carson. It was such a good Johnny really Carson.
Good. Yeah.
It was such a good Johnny Carson. I love
they were
that
all
shit.
Pretty good. Like he was really doing all of them good. Man, that was so funny. but I thought that one made me laugh so hard just because he specifically did a horrible Jimmy Stewart impression in another episode.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to do it again. When
I did too. I definitely did too. But then he's fucking killing it up there.
Yeah,
and no matter who he's doing, he's killing it up there.
Yeah.
Episode
What else you guys got for this one? That's my only note.
Episode starts off, McGurk calls the baby a dork because it has glasses. He said he said that glasses are for dorks, and he said especially like on a baby that's like super dork. He says something fucked up like that.
It does. I will say though, like he's kind of right in that like babies have such small heads, so glasses look so funny. They look so big on a baby. So like babies do look like little dorks when they wear glasses.
I don't remember who says this. I wrote in quotations, I found another man. Who says that?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either. And it was today. I watched this shit today. Oh, whatever. This
is such a weird second to last episode. This is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
I don't get like, it. I guess I kind of appreciate, even though I didn't really super care for this episode, I really appreciate that they were just like, I kind of appreciate they're like, we'll just do something really fucking weird. like McGurk is a blind prophet now. Pretty strange.
The fuck. This is another one I just didn't see. I didn't notice. I think I brought that up earlier.
I've definitely seen it, but I forgot about it. Deli, you got anything about this one?
Nah. Other than like laser eye surgery is kind of gross, but this pretty much.
You mean like it's gross because it's gross to think about things going in your eye, or gross, or do you have a moral objection to laser eye surgery?
I mean, from what I remember of the episode, the way they just like literally like burning his eyes, and it's like you can hear that shit crisp up like it's bacon. Totally. It's like, dude.
Hey.
yeah, fair. That's gross.
Why are you going so hard Deli. On these sound effects?
Hey, like, Deli, you entitled to feel however the fuck you want to feel, but I was really hoping that you had some kind of big ass moral high ground.
I kind of did too.
Nah,
like, what's wrong with glasses? What's wrong with glasses?
I needed that.
In this 4-hour essay, I will document.
Yeah, like I'm like, damn, Deli about to get his bag.
Nah. Save it for the summer months.
That's good shit.
I heard that.
All right, should we just move on and talk about the finale?
Series finale. Focus Grill.
Focus Grill, baby. Okay, so I like them making fun of Melissa's makeup. Like, it's like, oh, did you did it yourself? He's like, yeah, I just applied it in the mirror. He's like, oh, you had a mirror? It's so funny.
I love in that same scene, I love them talking about how Paula and McGurk look together, and like there's like, is McGurk gonna be a new dad? Like, because what was killing me was that, like, okay, when the episode started and like McGurk came out with the grill, I was like, yeah, why the fuck is he doing this? And then they brought it up, and they're like, that's kind of just like a dad thing to do. Why the fuck is he buying? Like, why is he building out? And I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Okay, I'm glad they're acknowledging it.
It does feel like the show kind of always like it always danced around it because they have such a weird broship. Like Brendan, the way Brendan treats McGurk is not like a dad, but like McGurk very much inserts himself into Brendan's stuff all the time in a very fatherly way. And I'm glad that they did that for this episode, but it also featured something I talked about in the last one where I love when McGurk is confident but wholly unequipped to do something. He's like he's ready to do it and he just doesn't know how.
Which like I just kind of felt like that grill would have been very simple to put together if he just read the fucking instructions. I don't think it would have been that hard.
It shouldn't be. That should be a lot easier than the kitchen thing he did last season.
Exactly. Like that was something where it's like, yeah, I get it. You bit off more than get you. But this, fam, it comes with instructions. They don't just give you the parts and say, fuck all, do your best. You know what I mean? Like, it's instructions.
It's
I haven't seen McGurk like reading anything. close to like an instruction manual. So if he did,
And
it'd be out of character.
the only thing is, I guess his own journal.
Yeah.
Earlier this
True.
yeah.
Journal to the center of McGurk.
Journal to the center of
McGurk.
You know what I mean?
That should be the title. That's what I'm going to title this episode on YouTube.
Yeah.
Journal to the center of McGurk.
Journal freak. He called himself a journal freak.
Oh man.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, he's more of a movie guy, as we established with his obsession with Bag of McGurk.
Dude, don't even fucking get me started, fam. I was so mad.
Okay, well, okay, so first of all, the thing that I wanted to bring up that I thought maybe you would have noticed, Tariq, is McGurk being like, when basically the meta commentary of Brendan being like, I'm trying to write the end of this thing and I'm just having trouble just ending it. I'm having trouble just ending this thing.
Right.
But then McGurk being like, well, you should just end it with a grill,
With a
with a grill out,
Yeah.
with a cookout.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, so this is 7 years or like 5 years before the end of King of the Hill, which
is what
does,
they do.
Yes, it's exactly what they do.
They end it with the grill.
And it's perfect for that show. But I just thought that was so funny how they literally were like, that's a good way to end something. I'm like, that is truly one of my favorite endings of all time, is when King of the Hill ends with a grill.
I really love that. What McGurk is going through and what Brendan is going through is like, so it's like they kind of correlate, because like they're both taking really long to do something that should be really simple,
Right.
Right, because they and it's not like I don't know. For Brendan, it's kind of just like this feeling of dread, and like for McGurk, it was more like his inadequacy, right? But I feel like that's kind of a like sort like a brilliant marriage of what it's like to end a show. There is the dread of getting to the end of it, and then there's the insecurity of feeling incompetent, of feeling like, fuck, am I gonna fuck this up? Am I gonna write the wrong ending? Are people gonna like this? Yeah. Exactly. And I really like that. I really like that, like, they used it that way. I didn't notice it as a kid, but I really like that they used it that way. And fuck all, I said I like Brendan's ending.
I really love the end of this. I really, really love this episode. And also, like, even I just thought of this as you were saying that, but like, there's almost also this like McGurk, we've seen over the course of the show that McGurk is constantly inserting himself into Brendan's life, like, and Paula's life, and like he clearly has this like real genuine love for Brendan in some weird way. And it's almost like is him not finishing the grill, like him being worried about like not like having to leave, you know what I mean? Like having to not like leave, like not be there at Brendan's house, be a part of Brendan, like helping Brendan and Paula anymore. You know what I mean? Is it like representative of him, like not wanting to remove himself from Brendan's life, because he's got this attachment to him. There's a lot of good stuff. My favorite thing about this episode is them talking about the movies and making films, and this, and being like, I don't think our movies should be watched. I love it's it's really funny, but I just think being like I don't think they should be watched. It was always about our connection doing this together. It was always about us. This is something that brought us together, and we love making the films, and we love the process, and it's like about how we love and relate to each other through this process. It's not about the films. It's about how the films made us, you know, and made our friendship. I love that.
I wish that scene was longer. Like, I wish they like talked a little more about it, because I fucking love that. I love them just talking about it like that, and just kind of like, I don't know why we do this. It just kind of feels like we should. And I feel like that's just something that like creatives go through, right? Because like, I mean, at a certain point in your life, right, and then at a certain point in your adult life, especially as a creative, you realize the purpose that your art has on the world at a certain point. It's kind of a realization that people get to. It's like with different points in their life, but people get to it eventually. But these are kids, and they obviously don't know what the purpose of it is. And it's just kind of, and Brent, the way Brendan puts it, is like, I don't know. It just kind of feels like we should be doing it, so we do it. And I see that kind of as like, I don't know. I feel like this about myself, and you guys probably feel this way about yourselves too. But I've always kind of felt like I was created to create. Like, I don't think I can do anything else but make shit. You know what I mean? And I think that's what they're going for. I think they're going for the fact that, like, we do this because we literally wouldn't be ourselves if we did anything else.
Totally.
This is what we're designed to do. And this is why we do it. And when you do something purely for the fact that you feel as though it is what you're supposed to do, it doesn't matter who sees it. So I think that's why Brendan says, like, I don't think people should watch these. Like, yeah, right. They suck, but like we do them because we have to. You know what I mean?
Do you think there was any sort of meta commentary from the creators being do you think that was a reflection on this show? Do you think they were just like, are we going to be proud of this show in the future? Like, are we going to granted, I love it, but like, who knows what they were feeling at the time, you know? Like we make these things because we feel the need to do it, and we love the process and the relationships that we make doing it. I feel the same way as you do, Tariq. Like, I don't know what I would do if I couldn't just make stuff. Like, if I wasn't making stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deli, what do you think about this one? How you feel about the series finale? I know you're a fan of this one.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to still even process it because there's so many layers to it. It's hard to watch, but it's also something that's necessary to try to digest. I guess I should do my job because I'm the fucking critic in residence.
Why do you feel like it's hard to watch?
Well, okay, right. On the base level, everybody has like a different interpretation of focus grow, and everybody, even if they come to like the same conclusion about what it meant or like how everybody came out of it, they always have like differences in like details or how they interpret certain bits. You know, it's like you could say that the focus group is necessary for us to have this meta commentary actually work, but it is really like fucking annoying. Like, there's plenty of people that feel that way, but of course wouldn't want to take it out, right? There's plenty of people that also would say that maybe the ending should have been tweaked because it's like a little too bittersweet, and maybe it could be more sentimental, and maybe they could have talked about it a bit longer, like you'd said, and that they could have had like a real swell of emotion. You know, it's hard to gauge too because I think more shows nowadays do get like real endings, or at least in the context of animation.
Yeah.
More shows are getting like capped earlier, but more so they have the ability to like at least give themselves a definitive ending. So I guess this is a hot take. I don't think there's any wrong way to do a finale. It really does depend. I couldn't look at like something. I couldn't look at Focus Grill, and if somebody tried to apply it to like fucking Ren and Stimpy, I couldn't necessarily say like, yeah, that wouldn't work. I don't think it's so like variable. So when I watch Focus Grill, it does feel like disjointed because there are so many of those layers that you kind of have to like parse through one by one and try to process on your own. But that's kind of difficult, of course. If you try to digest everybody else's take, you're probably going to understand less of that shit as time goes on. I think I have heard that the finale does bum a lot of people out, and I wouldn't say that I mean I like broke down in tears or anything, but it is like the more you watch it, it's like this is a little more of a bummer each and every time. Not in the way it's like, oh, I'm never gonna see them again. It's like, damn, what the fuck? This is really how we're going out.
It is those last couple shots with a fucking camera breaks and you just kind of watch his like eyes swell up and like nobody notices, and then he immediately just kind of is like, I could eat some tapas. And you know what I mean?
Like that is like. It's like, what the fuck? And of course it's like, like thematically, like, it's all coming together. But it's like, what the fuck? It's not that the camera broke. Because if this were a season 1 or a season 2 episode, the whole plot would be about him getting money for the new camera or like, or something like that. But instead he didn't go back for it. And it's the fact that it was 10 seconds at most where he thought about it. There was a split second where, his eyes started to get big and he was gonna start simpering over it, and everybody was just talking about what food they were gonna get, and he just kind of assimilated, and that like 10-15 seconds says like a lot beyond what it's supposed to say. I think there is like evident meta commentary about the show, because in every like instance of extra commentary they provide, they usually are not self-deprecating, but they are like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just making the show. There is like that thin layer of like cynicism or maybe derision, but it's not really heavy, I guess. But it definitely does speak to how they felt they were treated later on, of course. Mm-hmm. And it also speaks to probably how they were feeling. Maybe, I think season 4 also was probably a bit of like commentary on the state of the environment they were in. And since they were getting the fuck out, they didn't need to worry about it. But that was like 04, 05. So that was like Family Guy was really popping off on Adult Swim. Robot Chicken was coming in. Boondocks was coming in. I want to say Venture Bros, but I think that was a bit earlier.
Venture Bros started earlier.
But like the whole landscape of that network was really different from like how it was when it started. And I wouldn't say it's like the most drastic shit ever, but once they were done, it was clear that, they kind of couldn't go back to it, or at least that's how I saw it. Season 4, like, I think between the three of us, we know that we probably would not choose to revisit season 4 between all the seasons, because it is just kind of it's kind of middling, and it does feel like shit is winding down. But it is thematically, I guess, perhaps the most significant because it ties into that expertly. I don't think that's all meta commentary. They weren't planning this out from the jump, like, we're gonna make this kind of mid to suit our purpose. But it ended up kind of being that way. It was kind of
is crazy.
They were stepping down from their pedestal. They were kind of looking around, and they were kind of like older, like bitter adults. Like, man, this shit really different. But they were also kind of like moving on. And the show might have had that same impact for like Lauren and Brendan and Bill Broaddus and everyone else. Right. I don't really know, but I mean, those are all things that he would think about. I'll end on this too, because this could be like a half-hour video, but like, I think there's a lot of utility in endings that just end.
Shit.
Yeah, I feel her. Yeah, she's like, wrap it up, dude. The fuck.
You see my eyes.
Someone walked past. Hey, stop.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of utility to like endings that actually end. I think we brought it up last time because
Sorry.
because Tariq and I are pretty big Phineas and Ferb junkies,
Right.
and a few of our friends are too. A common thread, because the show had ended like 6-7 years ago, but of course it's popular enough that they can keep um, plugging away at it for a while because it is so flexible. It has wide appeal. They say the same episodes, the same shit when it's not really. And the common thread, it's like a running gag between our circle, right? That Phineas and Ferb will go on until 2169, and of all us will be dead, and the show will be on to its 34th iteration of,
Right.
So like every like new Dwampy show is like Phineas and Ferb 2, Phineas and Ferb 3, Revenge of the Revenge of the Ferb Snatch. It's like
Revenge of the Ferb Snatchers is crazy.
this is a good episode. You know, and of course, like we love this show. We're gonna keep coming back to it and trying to look into it. But it is really exhausting to have to go through that shit. And also seeing like the natural kind of evolution of like the people that work on it too. Dan and Swampy are different people than they were when they started the show. And it fucking shows. I'm not going to specify how, but it fucking shows. Phineas and Ferb ended. It didn't really end. We have a hard time even like saying that because it doesn't really. It didn't really end.
Yeah, man. That's you know what though, and I think that's that in particular. Just kind of like going through that with Phineas is kind of what makes me like really weird about when shows come back.
Yeah,
because like that when Phineas and Ferb ended, it was still my favorite show at the time when it went off. And like when it ended, it fucking like that shit like rocked me to my fucking core. Like I was like, whoa. Like they ended with like that big ass song and they all the characters are singing together and shit, and then they all just walk in the house. Phineas waves and he closes the door. I fucking loved that. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was so great.
Yeah.
And it was what was satisfying about it to me was the fact that it was a bookend. Phineas literally closes the door and it ends the show. And that moment like was so heavy to me because I knew this was going to be the last time I saw him. Except it fucking wasn't. And like now that kind of, it doesn't make the episode bad or anything. That doesn't make the ending bad. But that moment doesn't mean anything to me anymore. You know what I mean? Because like there's more. he's just closing the door to, but at first he was closing the door and he was closing the door on all of us. He's closing the door on the Adventures bookend, yada, yada, yada. Now he's just closing the fucking door. You know what I mean? He's just closing a door. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
He just closes a door.
And they went out of their way to like express that this was kind of metatextual too, because when you see everyone going inside, Candace is giving him a fist bump and Perry tips his hat off in this secret agent form. It's like this ogre. It's all it.
It's it.
The show lasted long enough that people could like start watching it as kids and graduate fucking high school when it ended. I skipped. I had a graduation the same day it ended, and I was salutatorian, and I was literally rushing everybody the fuck out of school so we could get home and watch this fucking finale, so I could cry in a corner and not understand what the fuck is going on. So like is all of that invalid or what? And there are other memories, right, where people watch this show and it sticks with them, and the show is on during poignant parts of people's lives. Mm-hmm. And then they turn around and they fucking they spit on it like Jason spits on Brendan. It's like, stop spitting on me, man.
And that's it. Yeah,
he keeps fucking spitting on me.
I just kind of, I don't know. I feel like when shows have proper endings, if you want to bring it back, whatever. But I feel like you gotta do something different. If it comes back exactly how it was, what the fuck did you do the ending for? You know, that's just kind of how I feel. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, I think often though, like I especially think about situations like Futurama, which had to do that 4 times. But they were always like, they were never ready to end. They were never ready to end the show.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
And you can tell. And that's why, like, you know, that's why I never felt that way about it. You know what I mean? Like, I do like Devil's Hands more than Meanwhile, whatever. But at the end of the day, I was never like, oh, man, why the fuck they bring it back? It was so good. Right. Like, no. They obviously weren't done. You can see that there.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I like this. I really like this ending beat. And, you know, I understand why people can get bummed out by the camera breaking and him not going back for it. I understand, but I also think, like, when you look at that, I think that as a symbolic moment to end the series, it's very nice. Like, that is the camera we watched him use this whole show to make these home movies. But I also think that when you like pair that in conjunction with what he was saying earlier in the episode and those scenes that we really liked, where they're talking about making the films, like, I don't think that means he's going to stop making movies with these people, because they literally just talked about how, like, we are made to make these movies together. Like, this is, we are called to do it, and we need to do it. And and yeah, I don't know. Like, I get why people can be like, what, but it's, I saw it as like this nice symbolic moment to end the show. Whereas when you, so the episode as a whole works really well for me.
It's over for that chapter, that era, that camera. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they had a specific amount of years with that exact camera, and that's over. We don't get to see the fucking new Black Magic fucking Ursa camera that they buy after. You know what I mean? We don't get to see it, but we know that it happens because we know that they understand that this is what they have to do.
Right.
And yeah. And like Deli was saying, like, the finale isn't, and that's actually the thing that I like about it, though, is that it inspires conversation. It's not 1-to-1. They don't spell out to you what the grill means. They don't spell out to you what Brendan is going through. You just kind of have to take all of these things as they happen, and it inspires thought. It inspires, well, what does that mean? What did they do that for? You know what I mean? And I feel like that, I don't know. Sometimes finales don't do that. You know, sometimes finales get so wrapped up in, no, we got to answer everybody's questions. When really, like, yeah, you can end the show, you can answer everybody's questions, and we can know what happens to everybody, yada, yada, yada. And after we talk about how good it was, what the fuck do we talk about after it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do we talk about after that?
And, like, there are finales that are perfect endings that I've been able to talk about. So many, you know, like, I've obviously talked about the Futurama finale a lot. I've talked about the King of the Hill finale a lot. There are finales that do that give you a really solid sense of finality and enough to, like, dissect within the body of the show. But that is, like, you're right. What else do you say after you're just like, this is why this was great? Whereas like, there's really something, I think, magical about a show that can leave you inspired to discuss with more, like, just inspired to be like, I want to talk about and unpack that. And not everyone has. I mean, this is a weird direction to go with it, but it's one of the reasons I like David Lynch's work, is because he has his own internal logic about everything he makes, but he doesn't tell anyone how it works. And so the most fun thing about his weird ass movies is talking to people about what the fuck it means. And it literally, his work will be discussed until the end of time, because it is so, like, there's so many different interpretations.
Right, exactly.
And that's really, there's something really cool and magical about that. And I like that it is like, it feels like a definitive end, but it doesn't, but there's plenty to talk about it. There's plenty to be like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What did they mean by this? And I like that. I like that we're sitting here, how many 17 years after this finale, 16 years after this finale aired, and we're debating what the purpose was and how it means, and that's great.
There's an incredible amount of power in capping it how they did, and not answering everyone's questions, because you can't answer everyone's questions and then make it hollow as fuck. The way that they just kind of slowly, softly kind of withdrew, and kind of just left on that note that everybody is left better by the movies, even if they don't like the movies, I think the movies are dog shit. They left everybody a bit better. Everybody has a place within the movies. Everyone has a role, and they're gonna take that on to the next part of their lives. That there's nothing. There's a lot to interpret, but there's nothing. There's nothing to really like reform. And especially at this point in time where everything's being rebooted and readapted and remade, there is a tangible amount of power in just like retroactively yanking that opportunity away. You cannot fucking. There's no way that you can take this and like retcon it. You can't. You can't fucking do it.
I do like when like there's a sense of finality. But even then, I don't know, man. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Fucking the dad dies at the end of Roseanne, and then he wakes up in the start of the new Roseanne, and then Roseanne just says, "Oh shit, I thought you died." And it's like, yeah, because he did. Like, dude, what are you talking about?
It's actually even crazier than that, because the end of Roseanne, they reveled that the whole final season was not real, because the end of the second to last season, Dan, I think his name's Dan, John Goodman's character, has a heart attack, and then the final season is that he was fine. They won the lottery. They have this crazy. The season is totally different. They're like all their dreams are coming true in all these ways, and then the end of the season is revealed that was all in a book. He actually died when he had the heart attack in the previous season. It was like this big mic drop ending, and then they bring back Roseanne, the show, and they're like, no, that wasn't the real ending. We're going to continue it off of this, and then Roseanne fucks up her chance on that, and when they go on to do the Connors, they kill her off in the show. It's nuts. Like that whole saga is nuts.
Roseanne is fucked.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
That shit is fucked.
Yeah.
And the way they kill her is nuts too. They make it like this whole story about the opiate crisis and how she was secretly doing drugs and they didn't know, and she dies. She like literally dies of a drug overdose off screen before the first episode of the Connors.
Man,
it's nuts.
Yo,
I like the way the arc played out. But,
I didn't watch through it, so I don't know how it plays out. But at least they try to do, like, they're trying to do something with that. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to do that's I think that's definitely in such a difficult situation. That's I think a relatively ambitious way to approach it. You know, it's like at least you're not just like waving it off and being like, well, she's gone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But finales are so interesting. I'm like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna end The Simpsons, man? Like that's the one that I always think of. Like, what I like that's gonna be one of those instances where cable ratings are much higher than they should be because people are like, I got to watch The Last Simpsons. You know,
it's the biggest show in the history of TV. What the fuck? And I don't know. Like we talked about it a little earlier about how there's just like this like overwhelming sense of dread and sense of insecurity when ending something. Man, times that shit to 1,000 for The Simpsons. Like, I know, man. I do not envy the person that is tasked with writing the final script.
Yeah, who are they going to have to do it? Maybe
you
they
should
just
get to do it.
Does he write for them anymore though? Like, you gonna have him come back to write the last one?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know.
They brought him back for the movie.
I mean, you know who my vote is.
Conan?
No, I think you go Ken Keeler, who wrote 4 great Futurama finales. He was a writer. He was a writer for Simpsons for a long time. I don't know if he's writing for them now, but I think the reality is you probably have one of those guys who's been.
You gotta call
there the whole time.
I feel like an old head.
I feel like you probably have a lot of people work on it, but if I were going to put money on it, I would guess it's an Al Jean script. That would be my bet. Just because he's written, he's been there since the literally beginning, and he's been in charge the longest. And I think it's because he feels a responsibility. I think that would be my guess. Like, he feels a responsibility to try to end it well. And whether or not he does, like, will remain to be seen. But I can at least respect him being like, I got to do this right. You know what I mean? I can respect him being like, this is my responsibility to do this. But I don't know. I kind of just hope it's really left in the hands of whoever's running the show when the show ends. You know what I mean? Like, and I hope they call and consult with a lot of people and get a lot of ideas in there. But I don't know. It's so daunting. It's such a daunting idea. And they did that one Christmas episode that was potentially going to be the finale. Do you remember that one? Holiday Future Past. And that's a good one. I think it's good. Yeah. It's a really good episode.
I like that episode a lot.
Yeah, that'll be crazy thing when they finally end that show. Mm-hmm.
That's weird to think about.
I know. It'll probably happen in the next, I don't know, man. It's 6 years.
I don't know. I said that mad long ago, but like it didn't. You know what I mean?
And this season is. I guess I've still only watched the first like third or quarter or third of season 3 of the new season of The Simpsons, but I've really liked what I've watched of this new season to a degree.
Good, bro.
It's to a degree that I have not felt about that show in a long time, where I've just been like this, and like every episode after episode has something that I'm just like, that was really cool idea, or like that was a really nice moment. And that, like,
I am historically obsessed with there's an episode in this new season. I don't even remember what the fucking episode is about. I just know that Marge calls an operating line that is supposed to connect her to Abe. And when she calls, the lady like obviously knows who Marge is. And Marge says, hi, can you connect me to my dad? She calls Abe her dad. I love that shit so much. I've been thinking about it for weeks. I love that shit so much. I am obsessed with that shit.
Yeah, man, this has been it's been a cool season. It's been a cool season of TV. Like I went out of my way to show so many people a Serious Flanders, because I was just like, this is the craziest thing The Simpsons has done in a long time, and it like works so well. And every single person I've shown it to has been like, that was so good. That was so good. Like that wasn't like what I remember The Simpsons being, but that was so good. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah.
All right, we should probably start to wrap this up. This has been.
Let's do it, man.
We're getting up there. Let's do our rankings. So I guess we kind of wrapped up our thoughts about the show. I think the show is really good. I think we did a really good job talking about that finale. It's a great show. It's a really great, unique show. I can't think of another show that is anything like this show. And that's a pretty cool thing to be able to say about a show, you know, like, it's like, there's nothing that I couldn't, if someone was like, I like home movies, what else would you recommend me? I'd be like, oh, I don't know. I don't know, man.
You're on your own, man.
All right. I'll do my ranking.
Let's hear it.
13, Temporary Blindness. 12, Cho and the Adventures of Amy Lee. 11, Honky Magoo. 10, The Wizard's Baker. 9, Camp. 8, Those Bitches Tried to Cheat Me. 7, The Psychodelicate. 6, Definite Possible Murder. 5, Curses. 4, The Heart Smashers. 3, Everyone's Entitled to My Opinion. 2, Bye Bye Greasy. 1, Focus Grill.
Sick. I'll do mine.
Hell yeah.
Got 13, Camp. 12, Honky Magoo. 11, Definite Possible Murder. 10, Those Bitches Tried to Cheat Me. 9, The Heart Smashers. 8, Chow and the Adventures of Amy Lee. 7, Temporary Blindness. 6, The Wizard's Baker. 5, Curses. 4, Psychodelicate. 3, Bye Bye Greasy. 2, Everyone's Entitled to My Opinion. And 1, Focus Grill.
We got the same top 3, just a slightly different order.
Do.
Hell yeah.
Let's hear it, Deli.
Number 13, temporary blindness. Number 12, psychodelicate. Number 11, those bitches tried to cheat me. Number 10, everyone's entitled to my opinion. Number 9, curses. Number 8, the heart smashers. Number 7, the wizard's baker. Number 6, honky magoo. Number 5, definite possible murders. Number 4, Cho and the Adventures of Amy Lee. Number 3, camp. Number 2, bye bye greasy. Number 1, focus girl.
Your list is crazy.
Yeah, it's very different, but I really like that we've all got Focus Grill and Bye Bye Greasy so high in there.
Focus Grill is the one. I would have been worried if somebody didn't
all
have
three
it
of us
as
did it
the
up
number
there.
one.
But also, but I'm glad that we were all so into Bye Bye Greasy because that episode's so fun.
It's funny.
It's a great episode. Yeah,
that shit with the car. Literally, is just
race.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. I might listen to that song. I might listen to the racing song after we get off of here. All right. I think we should start wrapping it up. So obviously we said this at the top, but we're going to be taking a little bit of time off the main feed. But check out our Patreon if you guys want episodes over the next couple of months. But we're going to backlog a bunch of episodes, and we'll be able to just put out a bunch of stuff nonstop without any breaks once we return. I want to thank Deli. This is the first time we tried this, having someone on for a whole mini series, and I know we took a long time to get through the show because of the holidays and sickness and all that. But thanks for coming on, dude. It was really awesome to have you on. Your home movies video is truly one of my favorites, so I was really happy that we got to talk about this whole show with you.
It's my pleasure. No, I'm glad that y'all brought me on, and I really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed our time together, and getting to sit down and talk about these in depth is really cool. because you don't often get to do that, even when you make videos about your favorite shit for a while. Sometimes It's like you put it down and you leave it and you got to move on to the next thing. But
totally
having to re-examine it is tough. It's challenging, but it's good work. So I'm glad I'm doing it with two good friends.
Hell yeah. So great to have you. Yeah. Do you guys have anything you want to plug for the end of the episode? I guess go watch my Futurama ranked video. I worked really hard on it.
That Futurama ranked.
And so did both of them. Deli and Tariq did some editing for me on it, and like literally all three of us like put work into that thing. There. It's a beast, and I'm so grateful for both of them. And yeah, it was a big thing. So I would love if you gave it a watch or listen.
Great video, man.
Yeah. Tariq, what you got? You got anything? You put last thing you put out was Buzz on Maggie, yeah?
Buzz on Maggie, man. Yeah, go show that some love. I really like that video. I think it's really funny.
It's a good video.
Thanks, man. I'm working on Hi Puffy Amiyumi right now, so because I realized I barely talk about Cartoon Network, despite it being the one that I watch the most. So I'm gonna go there. Yeah, man, it's just that. I don't know, Sketched Around podcast, me, Steve, Blake, Janelle, Little Janelle. Let me explain who Little Janelle is real quick. So
context for your other podcast.
Because when we first started the podcast, it was just me. It was me, Steve, Blake, Janelle, and it was our friend Vonnie too. And then like somewhere in the middle of the pod, in the middle of like the first year doing the pod, Janelle got pregnant. So she had a daughter, and her daughter's name is Janelle, but it's like it doesn't have an E at the end. So it's little Janelle. So yeah, and she's practically part of the podcast now. She be talking on the mic and shit. It's cute shit, man. Go listen to Sketched Around.
Hell yeah.
I love them guys. Yeah, dude, that's practically it. It's like a cat. I don't know.
Heck yeah. Deli, how about you? I know you did last month your big PBS Kids ranking video, right? That's a pretty big beast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to scroll.
What, you trying to not talk about that?
Well, I feel like it's not really relevant to anyone who listens to this podcast.
I feel like when you said that, it was like turning the light on and all the roaches kind of just scatter all over.
Look, we just talked about how Arthur curses. All right?
Dude,
we just talked about it.
We gotta find you that episode, bro. I'm gonna find it for you. We gotta find you that episode.
Oh, man.
I am working on an Arthur AMV for the finale, because it's coming up pretty soon.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're about to fucking end Arthur.
Yeah.
Gonna end,
it's like
man.
3 weeks away. It fucking
bro.
sucks.
Oh, and I say,
Longest running fuck since 96, bro.
Yeah. Cyber Chase will be the next one. So it has...
Ain't Cyber
6
Chase over
years? Nah, it's still going. They're
Since
doing a
when?
new season right now, like this month.
When the fuck did they...
I didn't even know this until I did that video. So, anyway, what, right, yeah, AMV. I usually don't do January, so sometime this month I'll come back. It's Black History Month, so honestly, just support us, any of our friends. If it's more relevant to the subject podcast, working on a big Clarence retrospective, probably more in the vein of home movies.
hell yeah.
And
Need that.
if you didn't know, Clarence is heavily inspired by home movies, so it might be of interest.
I actually didn't know that, and I'm gonna give Clarence. I'm gonna watch. I've only watched a little bit of Clarence. I did laugh at Clarence, but I just never really watched through it. So maybe I'll start giving it a watch. I definitely want to watch the Brendan Small cameo.
Yeah, Clarence fucking rules.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Also, probably talking about HBO's Animals later in the year, and the Adult Swim retrospective for the 21st anniversary this year.
Like all of Adult Swim.
That's super relevant.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. I've also, I don't know, this might be kind of on the spot. I don't think we've talked about this in the context of being podcast material, but I have been in early research to possibly do a moral oral retrospective.
Dude, that is okay. So that is one that I get requested all the time. I have only watched a few episodes of Moral Oral.
They ask
people request me to,
Yeah.
people request me to do it all the time, and people request us to cover it on the pod.
Yeah, they asking for it.
So if we ever get to it on the pod, well, that would be a good opportunity to have you back.
No, I didn't know if you would, because I mean, for those who don't know, it gets a little dark later on. I don't know if you're aware.
I love dark shit though. I mean, it gets dark in the beginning. The whole show is dark. I've heard it gets. The thing is I've watched 4 episodes and I've been like, this show's fucked up. And then people are like, yeah, it gets dark in season 3, and I'm like, what happens in season 3?
It's like it's different layers of dark. It's easier to process when it's like in the context of like, haha, this fucking Christian kid is like smoking crack or whatever. But then it's like, oh fuck, we can't hear this. So I know you wanted to do a video of it on your own, Johnny. So I don't, there are other people that would want to do it too. I know that, Adam from Your Movie Sucks has also talked about possibly doing one. So I've been kind of, but I mean, I know that if I did it, I'd blow it out of the water. Dude.
Yeah,
it's just going to be home movie prime. Yeah. It's going to be home movie prime.
I think you should do it, man. If you're inspired to do it, you should do it.
Yeah, man, talk your shit, man.
Yeah.
I do want to watch for the show, and I do want to talk about the show at some point, because it feels like a show that it feels like a show there's stuff to talk about.
There is a lot to say.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like home movies, I mean, that might just be the next progression. You just got to be able to talk that shit, and if you're too traumatized by Moral Oral by the end, just go watch High School USA.
All right. Well, I think that's time to wrap it up. Deli, it's been so great having you on for these 4 episodes. Well, I guess 8 episodes audio wise, but talking about these 4 seasons of home movies. And we're gonna have you back. I'm really excited for the next time we have you on. And with that, I want to say thank you to Jakeneutron for our amazing theme song. Thank you to Kerrifique for our incredible artwork. Thank you to Michael Yunez for producing editing the podcast and also doing the little hand thing and making us laugh while we record.
He's gonna make him do it.
He's gonna do it right now. And I want to thank Tariq for being my co-host every single time we do this. Deli, thank you again for being on for all 4 of these episodes. Being our guest has been really great having you. Thank you to everyone at home for listening to the podcast and supporting us. We really appreciate you. Couldn't do it without you. And with that, thank you very much, Bren.
Bow!